And we are live here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. My name is Tony Vicenda. I'm Chief Alchemist here at Plus One EXP, which is a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. Our hope and desires to help amazing designers find great players who love their games and help amazing players find great designers whose games they can love. We do that in a lot of different ways, but the most fun one is sitting down with the creators of those games to play them. Today we have a double creator feature, and we also, I think, have our first potential annual tradition happening here on Plus One, which is that on May the 4th, we play Galactic 2nd Edition, the best game that you can use to emulate Wars Among the Stars. And I'm super excited to have both Riley and Jess here with us to play. Even though we're playing Going Rogue, we're going to start by introducing Riley. Riley, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, and tell us a little bit about Galactic 2E.
Yeah, hi. Okay, I'm Riley. What I do is I make tabletop role-playing. Okay, right now I mostly think a lot about Ace Attorney, but a lot of the time I make tabletop role-playing games, including this one, Galactic 2E, which I published 1 year ago today. It is a belonging outside belonging game, so no dice, no masters, inspired by a movie franchise that you might have heard of. And yeah, it's about what is my tagline? Relationships, rebellion, and war among the stars. I was not thinking about having to like introduce this game. I forgot that I wrote.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're playing like a supplement. Like you forgot there's two games.
I was like, yeah, Going Rogue by Jess. It's great.
It's gonna be so great to watch Jess talk about all the things.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And speaking of which, you didn't see an opening scroll when we started, because Rogue One doesn't have one, and so we didn't have one either. And so, Jess, why don't you tell us about Going Rogue?
Yes, in place of the opening scroll, Going Rogue is an expansion that I made as part of the Galactic TWJam. So Riley had a game jam for supplements, and my project got a little out of hand and turned into 4 playbooks and 2 pillars and a whole new mechanic, because what I discovered in playing lots and lots and lots of Galactic is that it's really good at telling the stories of like these inspiring and charismatic heroes who are like flawed in all of these interesting ways, but it doesn't tend to support playing like martyrs and these darker themes that I also wanted to play with. I thought the mechanics did it really well, but that the playbooks and setting elements could really, if you expanded them, you could tell the sorts of stories that Rogue One tells. Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars. In my opinion, the best Star Wars, can be controversial. And so I was just like, let's work with this system and jam something up that tells those stories. And it became my first ever tabletop role-playing game. So Going Rogue's playbooks are inspired by the cast of Rogue One, and we'll get into like each of them. It also introduces 2 setting elements, which are the Parliament and the Intelligence, and we'll get into exactly what those are later, but they're very inspired by what it's like to exist on the left. If you're an organizer in this chat, you'll probably know a little bit about the conflict between those 2 groups. And a new mechanic called Fates, in which they're almost similar to clocks in some other systems, like you know a thing is going to happen and you're advancing towards it. But this one is about sacrifice, because big spoiler alert for someone who hasn't watched Rogue One but is in this stream. Warning, there's going to be a lot of that in this. I can't not talk about that as part of this game. Everybody dies, and so there is a fate called sacrifice, and we'll introduce that too. So that's a basic introduction. It's built on the same system that Galactic is, Dream Askew, Dream Apart by Avery Alder and Benjamin Rosenbaum. And I'm excited to get to share it with you.
Awesome. I am super excited to play it. Also, today, there is a bundle that if you go to ttrpg.link/RogueGame, it won't just take you to a bundle that includes Going Rogue, though it is included. It'll take you to a bundle of a ton of different Galactic 2E games and supplements. A great way to dive in. Mine, which is the companion, which emulates a lot of the behind-the-scenes realities of R2-D2 or Chewbacca, is in there along with a ton of other great ones. Do any of y'all want to tell us a little bit about the bundle?
Yeah, I guess it was actually kind of me and Jess that did it, because she was the one who kept reminding me to do it. So yeah, I just kind of put out a tweet like a month ago being like, hey, anybody who made a Galactic supplement, you can enter the bundle, because like right a couple days after I published Galactic 2E last year, there were like some people already talking about like stuff they wanted to make, and I was like, should I do a jam? People were like, yeah, do it. And then it got like a bunch of submissions, which is like still wild to me. And like I got once I wrote one that's in there also, which is Galactic Cyberpunk, which has an idle playbook and a hacker, and then also two kind of pillars that you can like switch for ones that are in the base game. And like once I wrote that, I like got so burned out. Like I finished it and I was like, I am done with BOB for a while. So like there's a lot of stuff in there that I still haven't read, and I'm very excited. I think I want to do like a thread of all the stuff in the bundle where I like talk about one, like I make a tweet about one every day. And I'm excited to read some of the stuff that I haven't yet.
Awesome.
I'll
Go ahead.
I'll also say that if you go back in Plus One EXP's history, you can find in their YouTube channel, I know because I watched it, the game they played before, including Tony's companion supplement on that one, in which Tony is a floating D20 with sides that like
oh yeah, that was so good.
That was the one, that was the playbook I created, but I actually played Jeff's
yes,
the Elder, and played the companion for the first time ever, and played a dodecahedron like dice like droid that would just show up and pop out of nowhere, and depending on what side they landed on was what they were communicating with us. And if you play the companion and you draw character art of your companion, it doesn't matter how good or bad it is, I will post it on the page as a picture, and it will live in memoriam. So anytime, if you ever play it, doodle it out, have somebody else doodle it out. I'll post the picture up if you send it to me.
Yeah, and then I actually played Eli Seitz' playbook, The Oath Sworn, which is based on like the Mandalorian, which is also in the bundle.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we all were like these are all great. It's classic, like Plus One. Like these are all amazing classes in this core game. We're gonna play all these supplements that each other wrote and get real weird with it. Yeah, I played like if Lando Calrissian had been a Jedi, that's what this my elder Jedi was like. Big flowing capes were a big part of my aesthetic. And so speaking of which, character creation is a big part of this. We'll dive into that in just 1 second. But before we do that, we'll talk about just tone and some other things like that. You addressed it a little bit. We'll talk about the fate, just so people kind of understand the type of game we're going to be playing. We also use lines, veils, and the X card regularly on channel, as well as having an open door policy. Lines are things that may happen in the world of our game, but don't happen in the course of our play of it. Veils are things that may happen in the course of play, but we address them in a certain situation, fade to black, move forward, soften them in some way, shape, or form, or adjust them within a certain context. And then the X card is the ability to pause the game at any point in time. Clarify what an issue is. There's no need to explain why you do or don't like it, but you might just need to ask a question. You might say, oh, that name's really confusing for me, or hey, I really don't like what's happening right now. Can we move in a different direction? And then we'll do that. And then we also have an open door policy here on the channel, which basically means we're all people. You might see us eat, drink, talk to somebody off screen, need to take a pause for a minute. All those are normal things. If you are a human being who is watching this and not a droid, if you need to do those things, go ahead and do them. If you're a droid, go ahead and do them anyways. It's fine. You'll be okay. But with that said, does anybody want to add any lines or veils? Or like I said, our channel has a strong one against sexual violence, but everything else we like to have the conversation around. Cool. With that said, if something comes up in play, just remember the X card's on the table, or if we need to pause and take a break, just let us know. We'll pause and take a break. Let's talk a little bit about the fate mechanic, though, since the people are kind of aware that that's on the table. Maybe any other tonal realities we want to address.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that the rulebook for Going Rogue says is that you should talk about the sacrifice fate before your game, because the experience of having all of your characters sacrifice themselves can be very intense. People get very attached to their characters, and also death is can be a very challenging theme. And so you don't have to decide beforehand if you want to take on this mechanic where each of your characters is going to sacrifice themselves. However, you should probably talk about it with your table and be like, if it comes up in play, do we want to possibly do this? Because it's something where one of your characters will propose to everyone else to take on like a suicide mission, basically. And then other characters get the opportunity to say yes or no. But I think it is best, and I encourage in the rulebook, that you talk beforehand about whether you want to have that opportunity come up, just to make sure players have an opportunity to talk about whether they're comfortable with it. we've talked a little bit about that beforehand as well, off stream, but just want to check in with you all and make sure that tonight you're feeling okay with that sort of darker theme that comes up both in Rogue One and in this game.
I am.
I think and actually this is a place where I can set, I don't know if I would say a line, but a boundary of some kind, which is that like, it's very important to me. Rogue One is a game that sure can get dark, or Going Rogue is a game that for sure can get dark, but like, it's important to me that actually it has a hopeful message. Like, despite all of the characters with this, like, who come in with a lot of cynicism and detachment, the point of the playbooks is to develop upon that and figure out what it is that inspires and moves them to action. And then the same way, the sacrifice fate is supposed to be about what it means to give yourself for a cause because it matters and because that sacrifice matters. And so it's very important to me that when we do it, it's not something that feels in vain. It's not something that feels just like, oh, we get cut down in the heat of battle and that's just it. That we're doing it for a reason and that reason makes a difference is actually important to me from a game philosophy perspective and from the story that we're telling tonight, if that makes sense as a kind of boundary.
I love that.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. I believe that in the world that is the world we live in right now, telling stories that have a fundamental hope, even when they're dark, is a really important and good thing to do.
Agree. Awesome. We have selected playbooks already, but I have not finished making my character 100%. Jess, I'm gonna kind of
I've like barely started.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand things over to you, just so we have a little bit of patter while we're going. Do you want to kind of talk us through that process, and we can kind of all talk about what we're doing? I can also pop the document up so everybody can see what we're doing as well. But why don't you kind of guide us through it?
Absolutely. So I think one of the places we should start is just going through and reading the short description of each playbook. So that's just like 2 sentences, so we know what's on the table. And an important thing I want to say is that, like, in the last stream, you used a variety of playbooks from a variety of supplements. I really encourage people in Going Rogue just to use the Going Rogue playbooks. I actually play tested it with the base playbooks, and they're so tonally different that's actually can be difficult to make them work together. And a lot of my playtesting focused on how do these classes support each other. We'll talk about this more when we make characters, but how does the convert make it so that the Night Errant is no longer so cynical and detached? How does the Night Errant make sure that the spy doesn't completely believe the ends justify the means for everything and like sets some form of boundaries? And so these characters are meant to deal with each other's excesses and like the challenges and tensions, but also growth that comes with that. So we are going to pick just from these playbooks tonight. But the first one listed in the book, they're not in alphabetical order because I just left them in the order I made them for whatever reason, is the spy. So Riley, do you want to read the spy?
Huck's voice, I'm the spy.
Yes.
You're the spy. The spy is a skilled operator, highly committed but ruthless. Their power comes from their cunning, determination, and willingness to do whatever it takes.
I have a special love for the spy. I love all of my children equally, and also I particularly care for the spy. I'm a big Cassian Andor fan. This is actually a Cassian Andor rank pin on my shirt, which my friend Adam got me as one of the best gifts that I've ever received. So I'm not playing the spy tonight because I've done it a million times, and also Riley also likes spies and Cassian Andor, if I remember correctly.
I have been known to be a fan of spy.
But I love this playbook. I'm excited for it. Next up, we have the Leveraged, who I don't think probably won't appear tonight, but I'm going to go ahead and read them. You are the Leveraged. The Leveraged is a non-believer compelled by circumstance. Their power comes from their outside perspective, their desperation, and their capacity to grow. So this is someone who's been like, someone is leveraging something over them to force their participation. This was inspired by Jyn Erso. And it was an effort to do something interesting with a very uninteresting character. So if you go ahead and play Going Rogue outside of this, let me know if you like the leverage and you think I accomplished that goal. Next up, the Night Errant, and that's Tony. You want to go ahead?
Yeah, the Night Errant once served a cause and now searches for one. Their power comes from their experience, grit, and renewed passion.
So the Night Errant is inspired by Baze and Chirrut, both of them as these people who used to serve a cause.
They're my faves also.
Yes.
I love them.
They're so good. Old gay couples. I love them. And then finally, the Convert. You are the Convert. This is what I'll be playing. The convert joined the liberation recently and truly believes it can make a difference. Their power comes from their conscious optimism, energy, and luck. And the convert's actually inspired by the pilot in Rogue One, who's like really believes in this thing, even when the others around are a little darker.
Bodhi Rook? You mean Bodhi Rook?
Yes, thank you. Bodhi Rook, I should give a name. When I was, interesting thing about the pilot, some design background, or the convert, it didn't exist in the first version of Going Rogue. I did one play test without it, and I realized I've thrown a bunch of cynics together and put no balance next to that. And so it was a campaign that was kind of a little dreadful because everyone really didn't like each other and also was very cynical about the mission. And I was like, how do I design a playbook that is in and of itself fulfilling for the player? It's not just serving a purpose in the party, but that also encourages these other characters to look at things from a different perspective. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. But yeah, sometimes that's how games work. The first playtest is usually a mess. Every first playtest I've done has been. And then that's how the convert happened. Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
With our playbooks introduced, the other thing that I recommend we do is introduce the pillars. So for people who've played Belonging Outside Belonging games, those are like setting elements, and they are the other things that exist in the world that we play. And I recommend for Going Rogue specifically, you choose the desires for the new pillars before you make your characters, because it helps establish the world a little bit and know what sort of world you're playing in. So let's read the brief descriptions, or actually, those are a bit long. Let's just like summarize what the 4 pillars are from the base game, and then we'll move on to Going Rogue pillars, if that sounds good.
Sure.
Cool. Riley, do you want to summarize some of your pillars?
Yeah.
On the spot.
Yeah. I mean, I could do it real quick. The space between is the Force.
Yes.
You know, it's like my version of I want it to be a bit more versatile. I'm the person who watched Star Wars for the first time in 7th grade and was like, this whole light and dark side thing is dumb.
Yes.
So it's kind of me trying to make it more interesting than that. The mandate is the Empire. They're fascists. The liberation is the rebellion / resistance, and that will be fleshed out even more with the intelligence and Parliament, my beloveds. And then there's scum and villainy, you know, criminals.
And you know, criminals is verbatim from the book, one of my favorite features of Galactic. I'll also say that, yeah, the space between is so interesting and there's so much more you can do with it because light and dark side sucks and the Jedi are stupid and terrible and it's all their fault. In my Galactic game that, like, when I say it's sprawled out of control, we wrote 150,000 words of short fiction in the universe. Like, we really love this. Seda, who sadly couldn't join us tonight, is actually a part of that game. In that game, the space between actually works as narrative agency. It is the like living meta narrative. And so like the more you use it, the more you try and exert power over the universe, the more it exerts power over you and takes away your individual narrative agency as a character, and you become a servant of the plot and the space between's desires. So this is just to say you can do so much more than what the Force is. Cool. Moving on to the pillars from Going Rogue. Those are the Parliament and Intelligence. And because this is some of the proudest I have ever been of my TTRPG writing, I know these are long, and I'm going to ask to read these verbatim.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
You are so valid.
Thank you. I am just these. I spent a lot of time trying to get the parallels right here. So, who would like to read the Parliament?
I can.
Go ahead.
A revolution is nothing without its democracy. The Parliament represents a diverse range of forces, factions, and commitments joining together to try to negotiate their differences and devise a plan that they can all share. At its best, the Parliament is a
comradely collectivity.
Collectivity and an example of how a more just galaxy would be governed. Sadly, democracy is not without its discontents. The Parliament is often slow to action, even when the situation calls for decisiveness. It can be conservative and conciliatory, aiming to keep the peace and avoid risk when only daring action can move the galaxy closer to freedom. At its worst, the Parliament is a wrench caught in the gears of liberation.
This is your Mon Mothma in Rogue One, who's like very scared to do anything. Also, comradely collectivity. Every single person I've asked on a podcast to read that stumbles over it, and it's like, I know I put a tongue twister in here, but I'm just happy with the
I don't think that it's a tongue twister. I think I expect comradely to end a different. I started going to camaraderie immediately as I started starting that word. I expected it to end different. Then I was halfway through it, and I was like, "Wait, no, that's not how this decodes at all."
And I asked Riley to read all the other pillars, so I'm going to read the intelligence. A revolution is nothing without its might. It is the liberation spies that enable its small fleet to succeed against a vast enemy. The intelligence is a clandestine network and messy hierarchy of burdened people who do whatever it takes to rid the galaxy of the mandate. At its best, the intelligence can turn a guaranteed defeat into a galaxy-inspiring victory. Sadly, intelligence work is not without its iniquities. It's possible to do great evils in the pursuit of justice, and difficult to walk that line without treading over it. Those in liberation intelligence position themselves to avoid oversight and accountability whenever possible, and are not above hurting those with good intentions. At its worst, the intelligence corrupts the ethical and democratic principles that distinguish the liberation and the mandate. And this is Cassian's commander who's giving secret orders when the council is trying to make deliberations. So something really important, and probably the last little design philosophy thing I'll give before we start play, is the intelligence and parliament. Neither of them are bad guys. And sometimes in individual games, one seems more than the other. One is preventing you from doing the heroic thing, or one is like doing evil things. But they're not bad guys. They are a balance to each other. Each of them is trying to maintain something that is important about the liberation and struggling with the excesses of that very, very challenging task. And I think anyone who's organized, participated in the left has seen that like balance of democracy and decisiveness of what it means to like be accountable versus get things done. And so that plays out in how these two pillars compete with each other. So let's choose desires. Pillars have desires that help us know how to act as NPCs in the world. So Riley, could you read the desires from the parliament, and then we'll choose 3?
Sure. So the desired choices are consensus, caution, guaranteed victories, cross-class alliances, forces in reserve, peace through compromise, a dream that never dies, lengthy deliberation, safety from retribution for the innocent, and ideological discourse.
Does anyone have one of those that is calling to them? I think a dream that never dies is really important to me, because I think it sets out like what is good about the parliament's mission. Why doesn't the parliament always support doing the daring and heroic thing in a way that actually paints it in a sympathetic light? It's like they know that if we get crushed, that's it for the universe, and so we have to have something that remains. Does that make sense? It's like a place to start.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was also thinking that. So
awesome. How about another one? Anyone?
I feel like ideological discourse strikes a good tone with that, like as an expansion. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. I love that. And then we can get to like that gets us into why they sometimes get a little too far into this when they get like too committed to these principles.
I like cross-class alliances as a thing. Like I like the idea of like focusing on trying to like ally with other groups.
That's super interesting. I don't think in any of my playtests I've done that one yet, so I really like that, getting to ask like how does democracy in the parliament allow us to reach out and like work together across difference. Cool. So that's our 3 for the parliament. And Riley, do you want to read the intelligence desires?
Sure. A chance to turn the tide of war, leverage over liberation members, the heads of mandate officials, reduced oversight, absolute obedience, secret mandate weaknesses, willing sacrifices, to bear the heaviest burdens so others don't have to.
Any calling out to the 2 of you?
The heads of mandate weaknesses is very strong.
The heads of mandate officials is so fun.
That's what I meant. Head of mandate officials. Sorry, I was reading 2 things at the same time.
Not a problem. Sometimes the only solution for a fascist is a bullet. And so that's our first one. Riley, anything calling to you?
I do like willing sacrifices.
Yes, that's so. We in our Discord chats beforehand, we were just so immediately on board with the sacrifice, and so I think that sets the tone really well.
Yeah, I also think it's interesting to possibly buck against. You know, like if this is what you're asking to do,
yes,
or if this is what you're being asked to do.
The intelligence is trying to like bring that down, and then like we are like, is that actually worth it? And is that like what the liberation we want to build is? I think is really interesting. I'm torn between a chance to turn the tide of war and to bear the heaviest burden so others don't have to. The second is just one of my favorites. I just like that and had a lot of feelings about it. But I also think a chance to turn the tide of war is an interesting counterbalance to a dream that never dies. Like, what is each one fighting for?
Yeah, I like that.
Cool. So we'll do a chance to turn the tide of war, which I also think does a little bit of world building for us immediately, because it sets us up like, where in the arc of the mandate are we? And I think it says that, like, unlike Rogue One, we're not in this like earlier stage. I guess it's not that much earlier than New Hope, but like it's really like they are so dominant in this moment, and we are asking, what is it that we can do to reverse that? This is like peak of their power, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that. So we've got our desires. So let's go back to our playbooks. I have not planned almost anything because I like set a commitment to do it a little bit at the table, because there's advantages to that. But if anyone does feel like there's things they already know, they're welcome to jump into that. And if not, I will start talking about my character on the fly.
Yeah, Tony, did you already have?
I picked a look and a couple of items, a style rather. I was looking at cause, and I think I had pretty much settled on that. So I can share those things while other people are looking, and we can bounce around a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I feel like principles, I kind of want to, I want to maybe see what other people are doing some stuff with before I dive right in. So for whatever reason, I do love the darker themes of this, and so like I went with the look is sunken face and tired eyes. The two things I did, and then my one screen just went black for whatever reason, who knows. And then style, I have a damaged but functional Astra Blade, a cracked helmet, and a uniform with the insignia patched over. I think
that's very evocative already. I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think I want to go with what was it? I had scrolled up. The group, an Order of Novas before I lost my closest comrade, is I think what the cause and why I left. A cause and why I left was I was part of the Order of Novas before I lost my closest comrade. Yeah, I think that's a good starting point. Maybe if we hear some other people, all my principles. I have to choose also a principle I abide by, and a lost principle burning a hole in my heart. So let's kick around to everybody else and then come back to those.
Yeah, I'll just set context for the Night Errant. Like Bazin Chirrut, they're people who, the Night Errant is supposed to be someone who like used to be a part of a cause, and then like for some reason they gave up on the things they cared about, but it is still bothering them in some way. They actually do care, even if they don't want to say that they do. So I already love you like starting to paint a picture of what it is that you were committed to. And then I've already gotten some ideas for mine, which is the convert needs one skill that you already have, and then two you want to learn. Because the convert is someone who joined really recently and doesn't have a lot of skills. And the one I want to learn, the one I have already is rousing speeches. I like the idea that my little convert is already really ready, or like is super committed and inspired, almost like ideologically, and like they're the one who's like over the table with their friends. They were like there at whatever like high school equivalent they have, talking about the latest thing the Liberation did, and like really giving a speech about it, even though like they weren't really involved at all. But usually it's a speech or a skill to learn, but I think it's really fun. It's something they come in with, but they don't actually have the skills to back it up. And so what they want to learn is two things: piloting. They've decided that they want to be one of those fancy flying aces. And I'm picturing them with, I don't remember if I put this in wardrobe styles. I did put this in wardrobe styles, good. An oversized helmet, so like one that keeps falling over their eyes as they are trying to train as a pilot. And grace under pressure. So like they are...
Yes, I'm obsessed with them.
I'm so glad. So she is really good in situations where everything's fine, and she can give this rousing speech. And then as soon as things get bad, she has no idea what to do and is very embarrassed about this, actually. Like that's one of the things that I think is going to be a big part of her self-doubt. And hopefully that's something that the two of you are very capable of passing on.
I'm so excited to hate her.
Yes, hell yeah. Oh yeah, your character is gonna be so annoyed with her. I love it. Cool. Yeah, anything coming to you, Riley? Or if not, I can keep going.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, okay, I like oversized coat a lot because I think that's a vibe.
Yes.
Or no, actually, you know what? No, I think I want a leather jacket actually. Because
Very important.
because you have the oversized thing, so I'm gonna be a cool leather jacket having person. Plasma knife is cool also. Like I think I don't quite have the exact vibe that I want for this character, but I think like I definitely want to like contrast or convert.
Cool.
Be like the cool person who's like cool under pressure and is just like, ugh, can we just like get on with this, please?
Absolutely. Cool. I've also decided on my look, so if y'all are okay, we'll just jump back and forth a little bit as we like figure out the things that are calling to us. I'm gonna do an earnest face and naive eyes. So like I'm really there, and I really mean all of these things, but I don't necessarily know. I mean it, but that doesn't mean I know a reflection of reality. And then for my other styles, I'm gonna go with a regulation blaster. It's one of those like rebellion blasters that like is really a two-handed blaster, but Leia wields it in one hand at some point for some reason, and it looks really awkward. And I'm imagining my convert doing that very awkwardly as well. Like this is way too big for her. And my last one, I think I'm going to decide after I do why I joined the Liberation, because I think that's going to be really defining for her. Which is one of my other questions. For those unfamiliar with Galactic, it takes a structure that I really like, which is that everyone has a look and 2 to 3 wardrobe styles and relationships, and then asking a question left and right to other characters. But then each class has 2 custom questions. So we've talked about some of those. That's the skill I'm trained in and 2 I want to learn. And for the Night Errant, it was the principles and like what they used to be a part of. So my other custom question is why I joined the Liberation. I'll come back to that. Tony, do you have other thoughts on your character?
Yeah. So I like the idea that probably a little bit of the reality, but also largely the perception is by a lot of other people is that I'm just an old drunk. Like I am melancholy, I am sunken, and I have suffered tragedy, and I have chosen an unhealthy way to deal with it, but I'm still in the fight. And so I think the principle that is oh man, I was just looking at it. So to never harm an innocent is the principle I abide by.
I'm actually realizing, could I set a line here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually think that alcoholism is something I'd rather not involve in this game.
That's fine. And we'll take it off the table. Yeah.
Cool.
Then let's just say like he is very disconnected.
Yes, right? I'm imagining like crotchety, right?
Right. Like a little silent, a little stoic, like oftentimes very much just harumphs and walks off rather than like giving into it. Then like engaging in the way that people are trying to get him to. And I think
you mean the way that my character is going to try and get you to constantly and hound you.
Got a great group here.
Yes.
I think the principle that's burning a hole in my heart is to forgive even when it's difficult. Is going to be the other one.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I like the idea that maybe even whatever happened in my past, if I had violated my first principle, like I would not have been in this position. And I think I feel like I was forced to be in that space. And it is very hard for me to forgive generally now, but specifically around that.
Cool. Oh, I can't wait to hear more about like what it did that you like.
We're going to find out together.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I'm just like saying, like, I'm already like so interested in your character. Cool. I think why I joined the Liberation. So my options, I'm just going to read them aloud to give myself a second to think. I became disillusioned and defected from the mandate. So that's Bodhi, our Rogue One pilot. I don't think I'm going there. Not the character I've established. The Liberation saved my home. I followed a friend who joined before me. I felt inspired by Liberation propaganda. I witnessed a mandate atrocity. and I had nowhere else to go. So these all establish very different tones for a character. And I felt inspired by liberation propaganda.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I think I saw the like videos and like that people were sharing around about like this ace pilot who took out this
Okay. I just figured. Something just clicked. Sorry.
No, I love it. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Cool. Good. Okay.
So yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, because one of my things is choose one that you sacrifice and one that you're fighting for. And I'm just keep looking at the lover you left in order to protect them. And I just kept looking at it. And what if my lover was that liberation pilot and all the propaganda?
Oh no. Oh no. And so
I don't know if
you left to
I
protect.
don't know if that means that I'm fighting for them or if I sacrifice them though. I don't know if anyone has ideas.
Yeah, I've got a couple I can think of. So I think the idea that like you think other people in the liberation should get to like bear the burdens that others don't have to, even if we didn't choose that, it's still like sort of motivating me. The idea that like you had to separate yourself from them so that they could be the pure good pilot. They could be the Galactic character, not the going rogue character. And so you needed to be the one to take on all the hard work of the intelligence so that people like them didn't have to. And so you're fighting for them to get to be that person. Even if you can't.
I love it. I adore it. Yes, thank you.
Cool. Do you have ideas for what you sacrificed?
Yeah. These are all good for sacrifice ones. So, I feel like is the opportunity to live a different life. Is that kind of? I feel like those are interesting.
Absolutely, I think they're very related.
Both of them.
I think those are very related. So the idea that like now that you've chosen to bear this responsibility, you feel, even if it isn't true, that you can never go back to being a normal person. You can never go back to being like innocent or deserving or however your character views it. Does that like resonate?
Yeah, I like it.
Cool. And something I also, this is a good, I'll talk game philosophy all day. I keep saying I'll finish, but I won't. Something else that I do here is these characters have very committed beliefs, but it's important that all of them can be wrong. The convert can be wrong, the Night Errant can be wrong, the spy can be wrong, and they can all be wrong at once and also a little bit right. And so the idea that the spy could never live a different life, you've sacrificed that, or you at least believe that you have. But I think other characters in the party might challenge the idea of the Night Errant who's left their old life and the convert who believes that everyone could live a better life, belongs in the new world. So the third bullet among the tips for every single playbook is remember that character conflict is not player conflict. Find ways to move towards shared narrative goals as characters disagree. So we're probably going to butt up against each other all the time. And actually, we'll also figure out in play, how does that lead us towards where our characters want to be together? And so I just want to point that out because I think that's relevant. Cool. So I know why I joined, which was inspired by propaganda, which means that I was feeling pulled by a gifted jacket, but I actually don't think that I have a strong connection in the liberation. So I think it's propaganda pins.
Yes.
So like, it's not even things that I got here. Like, it's not like I entered boot camp or whatever and like was given pins. Like, there's the stuff that people hand make at home.
Yeah, I was saying, are they homemade?
Yeah, you got it from Space Redbubble.
Yeah, exactly. Like my planet, my little like village's Redbubble, and like I show up and there's some liberation members who maybe like scoff a little bit, like what are those? But I love the idea that like she confidently wears them on her jacket anyway. Cool.
And it's like my ex-lover's shit, like.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, it's literally like one of them is a picture of her ship or like the name of it or something like that. Like her fighter.
Good stuff we have here.
So painful. I love that. Cool. I think that's everything besides the relationship and ask left rights for my character. Usually I finish up all of those before we move into relationship, all of like everyone's first questions before we move into relationship. Tony and Riley, do you have more thoughts, or would you rather we move forward and then come back to?
Yeah, I was gonna do the principles. Definitely the one that I will not break is you must put yourself in harm's way if it means others won't have to.
Yes.
That one seems pretty easy. The one that I have broken, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna read the choices. We'll see.
Yeah.
Loyalty to those who have helped you in the past, to only kill those with a weapon in hand, to never allow a child to be harmed, to allow harm by inaction is to be responsible for that harm yourself, and retribution is necessary against anyone who has brought harm.
So one of these.
I think I'm not super interested in the child one just because I don't want that to be like a choice, you know?
Yeah,
Like I don't want to focus on that.
Let's see. So did you like screw over someone who helped you, kill a person who had no chance to fight back in cold blood, refuse to act, and that meant, oh no, that's the one that you already, oh no, it isn't. So
no, the next one is the one that maybe it is that one, to harm by inaction is to be responsible for that harm yourself. Like,
so maybe the reason, oh, go ahead, sorry, you should talk.
No, I didn't have anything, please go.
I was going to propose, like, connected to your whole like fighter pilot X idea, is the idea that like you didn't do something and it created consequences for her. Like you didn't do something that was like hard or challenging.
Or I didn't do something to protect her.
Yes, absolutely. And now you're like, I have to bear the burdens of the world in order to protect her because I feel guilty.
Yeah. Wow, I'll really walk into a game and be like, I've made a spy with a fighter pilot ex-girlfriend. This is all that I care about in Star Wars.
Every one of the playbooks, the last available relationship is an X with different adjectives. Every single playbook has an X option, so I feel you. My Galactic game.
I think that's basically true in the base game as well.
Oh yes, true. I'm going to take that inspiration there. Our Galactic game, the subtitle in our play doc on Google Docs is a game of lesbians and their exes.
God bless.
So like, yes, I get that energy. Cool. So you've got all your questions, which I think means Tony, we're looking for a principle you abide by, right?
Yes. Oh, no, I had them. So I abide by, I never harm the innocent.
Oh, okay, cool.
The one burning a hole in my heart is to forgive even when it's difficult.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I think we are ready to move on to relationships, if that sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I'm nodding, but I doubt that you're looking at the video.
Yes, I'm looking at the rules for relationships. So let's see. I'm really pulled towards an austere or scheming liberation authority with plans for me. To be clear, those adjectives have mechanical value in the base game of Galactic. There's like adjectives that have moves that are associated with them. So like moves are mechanical things you can do. So these just flesh out our NPCs with some moves. And so yeah, I'm drawn towards an austere or scheming liberation authority with plans for me. But I'm especially interested if that connects to one of y'all's relationships. So like whether you have someone who that could also describe.
Who say it one more time?
Whether my scheming or austere liberation authority could also be someone that one of you has a relationship to. Because I think your adjectives could also describe that, especially the spy has people who could also be the authority figure with plans for me.
Yeah, I've got a scheming or cynical superior officer that I was thinking about.
Cool. Does that sound compelling for you?
Yeah, I like. If I was looking at those two, scheming I like better. So they've got schemes.
Yes.
They've got plans.
And then I want to look at austere and just see what the austere moves are, because we could do both.
I'm trying to pull up my Galactic PDF, but I tried to, and then it was the Rogue One. It was the Galactic one.
Oh no, your own game.
Okay, no, wait, I got it. Don't worry.
Well, you could go to ttrpg.link/RogueGame and pick up a bundle with all of those PDFs in it if you wanted to.
But it doesn't have the Galactic. It doesn't
have the base game.
That's true.
It's fine. I got it. It's
cool. So the austere has hold your head up high and gain a token, give someone harsh criticism and give them a token, or demand someone change what they're doing to fit your values and give them a token. So I love the idea that this liberation authority is both austere and scheming. Does that sound good to you?
I love it.
And then I have a list of names I've come up with.
God bless.
Already ready to go. So which ones of these haven't I used for other podcasts? Lissa Branco, Mina Final, Mila Barron, Daro Tane, Bartum Jassard? Any of these calling to you or to chat?
Darotane has very good mouthfeel.
Darotane. I'm thinking, so for this scheming and austere liberation officer, we have Darotane, who uses they, them. And they are, I think, Commander Darotane. Does that sound good? Rank? I love,
great.
Cool. And we can keep giving them detail as we flesh this out. I'm going to group them under the intelligence. So in Galactic, every NPC is connected to a pillar, and they share tokens with that pillar. Tokens move around narrative agency, basically. And so I'm going to group this NPC under the intelligence, and I'm going to put their moves in there just so we can find them.
I do love that we haven't named our actual characters yet.
No, not at all. We should
Not
probably
at
do that at some
all.
point. My current name in my own Galactic Campaigns Discord is 4-letter character name ending in A is my display name, because I keep doing that to the point where my Galactic group has banned me from making 4-letter character names ending in A. And that's like half my list here. So still true. Anyone else have a relationship that's calling to them?
Yeah, let me go back to the tab.
Oh, go ahead.
The relationship with the X doesn't quite work for what we've already set up, but one of the traits that goes with it is passionate, which I really like. Because of course, if I'm gonna have a propaganda pilot, I have to just make them Jace Rethal.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I'm me. So I don't think that we had a fiery relationship and breakup, or at least not a fiery breakup. I think that it probably was a bit more like not chill, but like somber.
Yes.
But they are definitely passionate.
One of the things I say in Going Rogue in all my games is that the rules are there to support your gameplay and not to limit it. And so if you want to like break what it says for the X, please go ahead. They're inspiration, not limitation, is the phrase I use. So yeah, cool. I love the idea for that. Do you want a name? Mila Baron, Lissa Branco, Mina Fanal, or I can keep making new ones?
I was also looking on Donjon.
Oh, go ahead. I'm on Donjon too. That's where I got all
also
these.
randomnamegenerator.info.
In chat, if y'all have ideas for Star Wars names, this is great.
Oh, absolutely.
For y'all to speak up. We would love to hear your favorite Galactic conflict names.
The thing is, like, my bar is so high because, like, when I was preparing for Party of One, I made like a list. I like pre-generated them, like, but I forgot to do that today, and I'll never be as good as Major Kane Arcana.
Major Kane Arcana is so good. Major Arcana. I died when I heard that on Party of One. Also, that's where I got the idea to make my list. I would not have thought of that.
We've got Brill Badwazi from Real Meat Castle coming in there hot in the chat.
I will take that for one of my other contacts, unless you want that, Riley.
Please take it.
Okay, cool.
I would say I think Brill is good for when I have grown up also too. If you
go ahead.
Unless you don't mind. I think we still need a name for Riley so people can look around also while they want to. The one that immediately caught my eye for Night Errant was a focused or austere client whose job I abandoned. We already have an austere character, so I think I'd love to click on focus. And I don't know if anybody else has a relationship that might add into as well.
Sorry, say what it is again.
It's I think I'm leaning towards focused, a focused client whose job I abandoned.
Oh.
I like that because it lets us have like a hanging plot thread that we run into on the course of our mission. Like this person who you fucked things up with is a fun caper.
We've got a lot of names coming in right now.
Oh wow, we sure do.
Mango Large.
Sin Cipher is definitely going to be one of my relationships. I love that
that's
so much.
Good.
Unless, Riley, you want that to be your ex.
Stamaraldjub.
No, I feel like she needs like a more like heroic.
Oh, true.
Bin Large.
Rain Stunning is fantastic.
Mava Decline.
But I did looking at randomnamegenerator.info, my favorite. You got to go to rare. You got to go to rare names, generate names. It gave me Koi Caro, and I think I want to switch that around to be Caro Koi for my spy.
Also, that's so funny. We have last name Caro for one of our Galactic characters, so feelings. But yes, I love that, Caro Koi. Do you want Brill Badwazi for your focused?
Absolutely, we got Brill
things?
Badwazi for my focused. I think Under Scum and Villainy feels good for what I've been up to potentially.
Yes, that's what where I had placed it on a guess.
Awesome.
So I'm glad to hear that. Brill Badwazi, what pronouns for Brill?
Let's go he, they.
Cool, he, they. I'm realizing I never gamed mine. I'm Jess, she, her. I know, they're cool. But yeah, Brill Badwazi focused. So spend a great deal of energy or time attempting perfection and gain a token. Remind everyone to stay on task. I won't read them all, but yeah, we've got moves. Cool. Next relationship for anyone? I can also do one of mine.
Yeah, I've got one more because I'm a spy and I'm cool. I get 3.
Yes.
So I'm torn between either the mercenary or connected mandate officer I can leverage, or the gossipy or maverick criminal who always has what I need. The criminal could be Brill.
Yes, and that's
I
why we
like
have to go
that.
see Brill, because like that's your contact, except the Night Errant doesn't know that your contact is Brill, so we get there and it's bad blood.
Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very
So
Star Wars.
yes, what was the adjective that you went with for Brill?
Yeah, what was the first one?
Focused.
Focused. Which is interesting. So I've got gossipy or maverick.
Maverick would make sense, I think.
Yeah. I'm thinking maverick.
Gossipy
Cool.
and focus is a very interesting combo, but I do think Maverick is a better fit.
Yes.
Gossipy and focus is kind of a terrifying
Does work for someone who trades in secrets, I suppose.
That's true.
Yeah, focused and Maverick. Cool. So each of you has 1 and then 2. And then my relationship, the next one I'll take. Who is Sin Cipher? Because I need Sin Cipher.
I need Sin Cipher in my life.
I need Sin Cipher. God, the cunning or stealthy enemy from my past life who's still hunting me even now is perfect, but doesn't make sense for my character. Let's see. I'm thinking a burdened or cynical liberation veteran who warily trusts me. But also, that puts all of my contacts in the liberation. I'm not sure. I think I need some time to think. Does anyone else have ideas for their other relationship while I think?
I was gonna say,
go ahead.
Go for it.
Nope, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think that for my pilot X, I'm just gonna give her the name of a character that I did in like a Lasers and Feelings game forever ago, July Westcott.
July Westcott, love it. Captain July Westcott, sound good?
Sure.
Was it she, her? Okay.
Yeah.
Did you not want Captain?
No, Captain's fine. I was like, I don't even know how that. Well, like, what would be like Poe or like Luke? What are they?
Poe, Captain Pro Dameron, right? Am I wrong? Am I right?
I don't know.
I like ranks. I literally have Battlestar Galactica rank pins on my thing too. I literally have 2 different rank signatures here because I think ranks are cool and fun and titles are cool and fun. But that's also just me. Let's see. Demoted him from wing commander to captain in
God,
one
don't
scene,
remind me.
apparently. Oh yeah, not the best part of that movie, but has been a captain unless you want her to be a wing commander. July Prescott.
Wing commander is really cool sounding.
It is really cool. Cool. Yeah, she inspires me too. So I do love the idea that Wing Commander July Prescott is someone that my character like thinks about all the time.
Yeah, well, join the club.
Yeah. This is gonna be such a mess. I'm so excited.
I've got rousing or conciliatory, a friend I've made recently, which is catching my eye. And then the other one is that I really liked was, I think that may be the one that I'm most drawn to. Given my
I really like that because it might start to answer why are you at the Liberation at all. So like usually the Night Errant isn't a Liberation member. They like to go detached. So maybe you made a friend in the Liberation who like kind of roped you into whatever our thing is. Does that make sense?
I do like that. What is conciliatory? What is the move attached to conciliatory?
Yeah, let's look at that. You can also do it, Riley, if you find it before me.
Yeah, I'm
One of them
not
isn't
remembering
there.
what categories these are in. Here we go. Argue for a more peaceful or moderate solution and gain a token. Stop someone from starting a fight and give them a token. Ask, is there any way to do this, and give them a token if they give an answer that isn't a straight no.
Maybe that could be one of our first Parliament members.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it certainly would be that, not intelligence.
Cool. I don't mean to put too many words in your mouth, Tony. So if I'm
no,
doing
that's
that,
fine.
please. Cool. That helps flesh out our Parliament. Also, I grouped your X under deliberation, not Parliament or intelligence, because I feel like that's where she belongs.
Yeah, that seems correct.
Cool.
We are going to need a name.
A name for our Parliament member. Maine Gooks Lorja is incredible.
It is very good. There is also Twonk Barbican. The Recombinatrix has apparently had in their name list for a month. They think it's too much. I think it might be just right.
Cool. So what are Twonk Barbican's pronouns?
I don't even know. Let's go no pronouns. You just have to call them Twonk Barbican every single
Yes,
time.
absolutely. Maybe they're a council person, so like Councilor Twonk Barbican.
Yeah, you can call them by their position. You can do the Opande, but they just Twonk prefers Twonk.
Cool, absolutely.
Councilperson Twonk in formal settings. Yes, maximum Twonk. Autonomous Grandpa.
Maximum Twonk. Autonomous Grandpa, that would be my wife. Thank you for the support, Ren. Let's see. I had an idea for my other one. What was it? That's the real question, is what was that idea? A cunning or stealthy enemy from my past life who still hunting me even now. I'm going to modify my own rules a little bit. And basically what I want this to be is my like foil. I am this innocent person who's joined the Liberation, and I also want some youngster who doesn't understand what they got into who joined the Mandate. So like someone I like went to school with or lived with who like fell for Mandate propaganda. Then I'm guessing hopefully we encounter them at some point in the mission, and there's this little thing of like the two paths your life can take. And this is going to be Sin Cipher, she, her.
Yes.
Cool.
Is this somebody that you like a childhood friend?
Ooh, that makes it even more interesting. Maybe.
Oh no, I made it Narumitsu. Oh no, I'm trying not to think about Ace Attorney. Shit. Fuck.
That's okay. Love the things you love. That's how Galactic and Going Rogue happened. Being way too into a piece of media.
I would never be way too into a piece of media.
Not a known Riley trait.
No, absolutely not.
I don't want to say cunning, so I'm gonna go with stealthy for my ex-friend because I don't think they're cunning. The opposite of that. Stealthy lets them pop up though, which is fun. And yeah, to flesh out what you were saying a little bit, I think we were like young childhood friends, and then we had a falling out in like middle school, essentially, like middle school drama. And maybe that even fueled some of like her joining the Mandate or whatever, like just like bitterness over interpersonal things that drove her to be a bitter person. And maybe even her joining the Mandate was a little bit of a, well, if you're going to go off and do this thing, well, screw you too. Can I curse on this stream, Tony? What's the rating here?
Oh yeah, I guess
I like how Riley has cussed like 7 times.
I'm sorry.
Then you said screw, and you were like, "Wait, can I cuss?" Which probably wasn't you referring to screw, but more like, "Can you cuss?" But it was just a very beautiful, like, "Oh shit, I just said screw. I'm so sorry."
So to open up behind the scenes a little bit, the last time I said screw, I paused and was like, "Can I curse here? I'll just say screw instead." But I get the sense by what you just said that I can. Cool.
Yeah, we have a joke that we try to just pick the perfect moment for an F-bomb to keep everything PG-13. But depending on who's on stream, sometimes people are like, "Oh, I dropped my pencil. Fuck," and then that goes out the window. So
there's our one.
You know.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, so I've got Sin Cipher, who I was friends with, and we'll figure out more details in play. Fun thing about BOB, you can just establish this all in play. And that's my 2 relationships. I think the spy gets 1 more.
No, I have 2 of mine are attached. So 2 of mine are attached to you guys's, and then my last one is my ex. So
Gotcha. So we really
it's very connected.
Cool. Yes, have enough. Oh wait, the commander. I'm going to be interested in figuring out what the commander plans for me are, but I think we can do that sort of as part of idle dreaming and asking left and right. So let's move on to our ask left and right. So that sounds good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone has 3, and you have to choose 2. This was very intentional mechanically. I originally had a whole bunch, and I was like, there has to be a reason these characters work with each other. That was one of my first playtest discoveries. Was literally the entire first session was spent trying to get these characters to be doing the same mission. So now the ask left and rights establish a little bit of sympathy and establish a shared mission, and you can't avoid that by choosing questions. Cool.
You're gonna work together and you're gonna like it.
Yes, eventually. You're gonna hate it at first, and then you're gonna like it. There's a kernel of sympathy that I've established that you can play with. Does anyone have a question that's calling to them? We can also just read all 3 because that's not very long.
Yeah.
I have one. Jess, what's your character's name? Have you given your character name yet?
My character doesn't have a name. Okay, give me a second. I don't like any of the names in my name list for my character. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt the stream for that, but I do have to have a character name that I like.
You will at some point need one. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and read mine out loud while you're looking.
Cool.
What did you do that inspired you to fight alongside you? What do you admire about me? Why did I risk myself to protect you recently? Are the 3 questions that I have to ask. Yeah. I don't know if you found a name yet.
Nope. So if you want to ask one of those questions to Riley.
Yeah, I'll ask Riley a question while we do
Right.
Riley, let's see. Remind me about the spy a little bit. Tell me a little bit about your character again. Give me the overall vibe.
Yeah, so the spy is kind of like, the character who's just like, the ways justify the means. We got to get this done. I think she feels very like she has like a heavy burden that like she has to do those things to keep other people innocent.
Yeah,
Yes.
then maybe I'll go with because I do know which one I want to ask Jess's character because I think it'll be great.
We all love Jess's unnamed character.
I think what did you do that inspired me to fight alongside you?
Oh, I like that. That's such a good question.
I know, that's why I asked it.
Yeah.
I also didn't write it. Just so I mean, like,
Yes,
we're all on a
that's
great
such a good
place
question.
here.
Can you remind me about your character?
Yeah. So we've got what dumb name did I give myself? Deck Reben, the Night Errant.
I love it.
Very like crotchety, older looking, kind of sunken in on themselves. Has this cracked helmet they constantly carry around, but only like wears a hood that they can kind of withdraw and don't usually don it. Uniform with an insignia patched over it. I left in Order of Novas when I lost a close comrade. You know that I'll never harm the innocent, but I hold deep grudges against people.
Got it. It is what did I do that inspired you?
What did you do that inspired me to fight alongside you? I like maybe something like that, like as a character, given the tone of the character, like what about you kind of caught my eye and made me pause for a second to think there might be something worth fighting for.
Yeah, I'm thinking it might be interesting to kind of go for like a very, because I want to contrast Caro from like the characters who are like about rousing speeches and being in propaganda and stuff. Like, what if it was just like a really frank conversation?
Oh.
Like she just sat down and was like, listen, like this is gonna, I don't know where in the story we're starting, so we can like figure out what the specifics are when we get there, but like, this is gonna be like a really hard mission, and like, we're gonna be in danger, but like it's really important, and like these are the specific like, resources that we're gonna get, and like this is how it'll help people, and like just very like material stuff. It's just like,
Can I keep bouncing off that because I really like it? Yeah, I think what's so interesting to me about that is the idea that like you are the person who'll be honest when no one else will. that like you might be a spy, but when you're working with other Liberation members, so many people will sell the Night Errant a tale about how great everything is and how like everything is better and wonderful. And what's unique about you is that like you're like, no, this is the shit we have to do, and here it is.
Yeah, I actually like the fact that everybody else maybe tries to inspire my character back to hope with hope, and you were just like, no, it's all messed up. And that just like I was like, all right, like I can buy this because it's real and true and not this big idea that I've seen fail me in the past. I can grab onto that, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that. Cora Liss from chat. Who in chat gave me Cora Liss? Indignant Smirk. Thank you. So I have Ensign Cora, or Ensign Liss would be her title, but Cora would be her name. So
Okay, hold on. My character's name is Caro.
I was about to say you can't do this. I just scrolled down to look because I was like,
I forgot that for a second. I'm so sorry to the person who put Cora Liss because it's a great name.
We could do that. Do we just want to go? But do we want to call you Liss or Ensign instead? Is that a thing we want to do?
I have to change my first name. I can't do it. Okay.
So funny though.
Yeah. Oh my god, it'd be a nightmare. So I'm thinking, Kana Liss, and she goes by K with her friends, but might also just get called Liss or Ensign Liss in this context, depending on how people are feeling, and then we can save the K for a really tender moment if we want. That's an option. So Kana or K. You had a question for me, Riley?
Yeah. What is one lie that you caught me in? How did it make you feel?
Oh, is this where we start piercing the veil of Kay's belief in the Liberation? Kay's like really naive level of belief. What's one lie that I caught you in? Now, what's interesting about this is we've sort of established in your relationship to Tony's Night Errant, whose name is
Deck Reben.
Deck. Okay. We've sort of established in your relationship to Deck that usually within the Liberation, you're at least somewhat of a truth teller. Like you put things frank. So you had to have like a reason.
Which I did think of this question before, and I did think of that when I was saying it, but I still feel like it's interesting.
Oh, no, it's fascinating because then we have to ask the really interesting question of what made you have to lie? And I think it's about your ex. I think.
Oh, good. I was just like, she doesn't trust you, but this is very good.
Maybe so we can do both. We can do you don't trust me, and also there's some like interpersonal things driving this. Do you try and keep me distant from your ex? Do you try and like find a way to make sure that I don't interact with this idol of mine? Do you try to uninspire me about your like try and like paint a negative picture? Do you try and paint actually a rosier picture? Because like I know part of what you're doing is you're doing this to protect your ex from having to be like a worse person. So have you told a lie that makes her seem better when actually she's a flawed human being and I see her as some sort of symbol that is not?
I do like that.
Yeah. That's as I said it, I was like, wait, I'm latching onto something here. So like maybe something in your past, you've established that there was a time that you didn't act and you could have, and that would have made a difference. Did your ex do something in your stead that doesn't get talked about that you tried to cover up in a lie to me? That doesn't have to be what it is.
I'm trying to think of like I can't figure out like what the specifics of the thing is. That's what I was trying to do. But like I like that as like a thing that like right, like maybe it's even something that she did that people think I did.
Oh, interesting. And something a little dark, I'm guessing, something like
which then it's really interesting for you to catch me in that lie somehow. Absolutely
it is. Maybe it's some kind of
because like you know the details of the battle so well that you're like, no, you wouldn't have been there.
Yes, because I like study it as like a prophet. Like I'm
my god, you're Nico D'Angelo. This is.
I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. Is this Ace Attorney?
Okay. No, that's not Ace Attorney. That's Percy Jackson. I'm sorry.
Gotcha. Wow, I read Percy Jackson in like just ninth grade. God, it's been a while. Probably younger. Anyway, so I'm sorry, I don't know. Yes, I love that. I'm like studying all of the histories of the Liberation, and I find out that you couldn't possibly have done this thing. And is it took, like, blew up something where there was collateral damage? Is it took someone from her? Is it failed to prevent, or no, because it failed to prevent wouldn't make sense if someone like did something, like your ex is being credited with doing something, or no, you're being credited with doing something that your ex did. Is it made a mistake of some kind, like accidentally bombed something that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like, if you don't mind me continuing to spitball.
Go for it.
The idea that, like, you were supposed to do a bombing run or something on the ground, and for whatever reason you didn't. I don't know if it's that you chickened out, you had second thoughts about the, like, whether it was the right thing to do, like whether the collateral damage was worth it, something like that. And then because you didn't do it, they sent in your ex, whose name is Wing Commander
July Westcott.
So they sent in July to do it from the sky instead, except it hit the wrong thing because it was like, it was an underground thing or whatever. Like, it didn't accomplish the goal, and it actually, like, caused collateral damage because she hit the wrong thing. But you just tell people that you blew it up so that she doesn't have to take that.
Yeah.
Is that too much, or does that work?
No, I love it. That's great.
And then I caught you in it because I found, like, I was like, wait a second, you were doing this thing. Maybe you, like, told me about something that you did. And I was like, wait, that's when the battle at Rockfist was happening. I was like, oh my God, that must have been her. And how do I feel about that? I think, how do I feel about that? I feel a little bit mistrustful of Caro. I'm like, what? Here it is. I'm trying to pin this on you personally instead of on the Liberation, and instead of on your ex. Like, it's not that July's lying.
Honey.
It's not that the Liberation's lying. It's that you wanted to lie about this because you were embarrassed. And there's no other reason other than that. There's no propaganda purposes for which the Liberation would not want their ace pilot to be credited with this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I adore it.
Okay, cool. That's my motivation. Awesome. Tony, you also had a question for me.
Yeah. Why do you admire me?
Ooh. Well, we've established I'm a nerd.
God bless.
Yes, which is not surprising for my characters. We've established that I'm a nerd. And specifically, I'm a nerd for, like, history and inspirational history. So probably I've read about your order, right?
Yeah.
I've read about whatever order you served with, but the problem is I'm really into the idea of your order and you're not. Because you left. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love that.
So I think you all are these incredible heroes, and that sort of clashes with your view of your...
I was like, I'm so excited to ask your character why they are very excited to be near someone like me and why I'm very not excited about that.
Yes, absolutely. What is your order? What's their name and what's their deal?
Ooh, let's see. If I like maybe that we were almost like a medical order, like frontline medics. Like, that was our thing. Like, we were people who went to places where there was war and where there was hurting, and we like helped and healed people. And at some point I was just like, wait, like, we keep on showing up after the fact once everything's gone horribly wrong. And it's great that we're doing this. Don't get me wrong. Wouldn't it be better if we did things to help conflict from happening rather than just showing up after the fact to take care of it?
Absolutely. And I think I really find that vision of the medics comforting and inspiring. Like, I find it like, oh, look at you, the true peaceful heroes. which I never really question it versus my joining the Liberation and wanting to become a fighter pilot. Like it's a thing I've not yet come to question, and I think that might come up. So I think that's fun.
I do need a name for my order. Also, welcome to Roll for Felicity, who just rated us. All you guys playing Going Rogue, a Galactic 2E supplement. Happy Galactic Conquest Day. If you have a thought for the name of my order, go ahead and type it in chat. We'll make that the canonical name, but you'll get to name my medical healer, frontline, combat, Jedi, medic order.
Oh, and you have an Astro Blade too, which is super interesting.
Well, I think that's the thing. Like,
is it also like a stethoscope?
I think the concept was like you're going to be in conflict, like,
yeah.
And it wasn't like you can't fight or you don't fight. And I think it was like, yeah, like so. This is like very much like the Knights Hospitaller, like historically, who were like, we're going to go to the front lines and heal people. Also, sometimes fight. It's fine. And started a strong medical tradition in the West, but also like is a very confused early tradition historically also too.
I also like, does that mean that you have space between healing powers? Because that's really fun. Like you have the ability to use the space between to heal people.
Oh yeah, I absolutely view myself as like, yeah, I am space between attuned, but like incredibly hesitant to use it. Like
yes. Oh, we love characters with pained relationships to the space between who aren't sure if that's the right thing to do. And have become, yes. Okay. Sorry, I get excited. So I believe it is my turn to ask questions. Though also, Riley, you have asked a question to Tony? I don't think so, right?
I have not.
Cool.
But I also haven't had, or you haven't asked me a question either, so.
Yes, let me look at my questions. I haven't done that at all because I've been answering. How have I impressed you recently? When did I inspire you to feel a fleeting sense of hope? And why are you willing to give me a chance to prove myself? So we've already established why Tony's character is feeling a little bit of commitment, and it was the way that Riley's character, Caro, was willing to be honest. So we've got some of that like positivity, a kernel there. So I'm going to ask, when did I inspire you to feel a fleeting sense of hope, Deck? Why did your Night Errant feel a fleeting sense of hope because of my convert?
Say it one more time.
When did I inspire you to feel a fleeting sense of hope?
Ooh, it's gotta have been recently because I do feel like this is a very new relationship.
Yes.
Maybe like remind me of the situation for how you ended up here again. You're like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, like I can't wait, I just graduated.
Yes, I was like, I graduated,
school.
I'm going off on my own. Maybe I'm literally 18, and I skip off to some liberation boot camp or the closest equivalent, start trying to be like, I want to be a pilot. But we have a Liberation Authority who has plans for me. So if you need a way that we ended up involved with each other, maybe there was a scheming Liberation Authority who had a need for something for me. I don't know what it is, but it put us together. I don't know. That's just an idea. Go ahead.
How do you feel if it was like, if it was a confusion on my part? Are you comfortable with that?
Let me know what it is. I think so.
Frame the question for me one more time.
Yes. When did I inspire you to feel a fleeting sense of hope?
I like the idea of like our mutual connection, kind of like essentially convincing me to go like look at this new class of recruits, and I like the idea of they like spun me a story, like a kind of a sob story. And I think this is a good parallel to like why I am so crestfallen about hopeful narratives is like maybe this was the last one. Like this was the one that kind of like was like, oh, they were like, oh yeah, like you should go check them out. They are here's some of the things they've been through. Like and so like it was presented as like, here's these innocents who have lived this really, really hard life. but then it was like a class of like privileged post grads. And I don't feel like I'm hitting the exact like what the deception was hard enough, but I do like the idea of like it was one of the times where I was like spun this story of like here's hope in spite of like the darkness that's encroaching. Here's a group of people whose homes were destroyed and the mandate had taken over, who had fled away, and it's like actually no, here's people who are like totally like we signed up for this, we're very excited. It can be a mixed class. I'm trying to think if there's a specific like thing that I was told though.
And does that mean it worked at first? Like that you actually did feel like, oh, this organization is fighting for something?
I think it was like
about.
maybe here are people who will understand the reality, like the harsh realities of life. And so it was like almost in comparison to that hope. It was like here are people who have seen suffering and struggled and overcome and at a young age, and now they're stepping into the to help. And I got there, it was like, oh, and I was like talking like, and I kind of like the idea of it stopped the minute y'all opened your mouths. I was like, oh, never mind.
Yes, I gave a rousing speech to my classmates that really didn't resonate for you.
And I was just like, yeah, but I think like there's a moment where like y'all are doing, I don't know, like fighter pilot drills, and y'all like there's like a moment of like close teamwork, and like in the flashback of my mind, I like see like my movement of Novas like doing the same type of battlefield drill somewhere where like explosions are going off. And then like we flash back forward and you like stand up and give a rousing speech, and I'm just like, oh, like they don't get it at all. Like they don't get what this drill was about. They don't get when you do this, they don't get the reality that they're going to be stepping over dead bodies. Like none of that is known by these people. They think this is just a fun thing to do.
And that tees us up for a really beautiful moment later, I think, of like Kay both learning the reality that you didn't know, but also facing that reality with a perspective that you don't. Like being like, and this matters in a way that maybe you've lost hold of. I'm getting way too ahead of us, but I like to, that's just a fun plot beat that could come up. Okay, I'll be looking. Cool, that sounds great. My other question, Riley, do you have a preference between getting how have I impressed you recently and why are you willing to give me a chance to prove myself?
I have an answer for the prove yourself one.
Cool, let's do it.
Which I think is like one, I think it's that we never gave the superior officer a name. I mean, we don't need to yet, but
Commander Tane.
Oh, just kidding. Part of it is that Commander Tane likes you for whatever reason. And she's like, okay, well, if I think that she respects them.
Commander Tane is they, just so you know.
Yeah. And I had that was the other main thing. Oh, and also it's a little bit of spite.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, you think you know this stuff? Okay, yeah, sure. No, go ahead.
Yes.
No, please, Miss Wikipedia. No, go for it.
Oh, Miss Wikipedia. Oh no, that's such a good insult for Kay. Oh no. Cool. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Awesome. And then you have a question for Tony. Also, Tony, chat has a question that I feel like you are. I think the answer is yes, but will the VOD for this be available later?
I was just about to respond to it. Yeah, so we multi-platform stream. So as soon as we're done, it'll take like 30 minutes for it to process on YouTube, but it'll be available pretty much instantaneously afterwards. Awesome. So go over and if you click the link down below, you should be able to hop over to our YouTube channel, hit subscribe. You can check out last year's episode of Galactic 2E also.
But yeah, Riley, your question for Tony.
Yeah, so I was thinking, especially because we have that connection in common, I think it'd be fun to have how have my unique connections or information been invaluable to you recently?
Ooh, Yeah. I like the fact that the job I abandoned for Brill, I was going to be kind of left on my own devices in unfriendly territory. I love the idea of you being my out for that. I found myself with a job that I could not complete, and everybody around me was, because I abandoned that job at that point, an enemy. And I very internally begrudgingly reached out and asked for help and was surprised by how readily you responded.
So, and is that why you're like semi with the liberation now?
Yeah, I do. That feels good also too. That like this is just the place that I am now. That I'm still not really fully convicted, and I also like that kind of gives us maybe we even see in the prequel that eventually comes out of the past canon of that story, the frank conversation we have is had on the way back, from that pickup, and that is just kind of where we are now, right? I have returned back, and I feel both indebted to you, but also this is just the spot where I am now. Things are bad, and here's one person who can honestly, truly see that and talk about it. So I'll stick around for a minute. I don't know how hopeful I am about it, but it's at least true, and that matters.
Sort of something to do in an era of indecision for you.
Right.
Cool. So all we've got left, I believe, is the desires for the base game pillars, and then we can hop into play. Well, pitches play. I like to insist that creation in BOB games especially is a form of play.
It's a huge part of the play of the game, and it is a really enjoyable part of the game. Like, good BOB games do a ton of world building as you enter into them, and it is a tremendously fun way to play.
Yeah. I'm working on a BOB-inspired game that's also inspired by Battlestar Galactica. Well, part of it is. It's inspired by sci-fi ensemble TV shows, and so your first session isn't your session 0, it's your pitch. And then you do your pilot. And so pitches play has become a motto for me.
That's cute.
Thanks.
I have a improv brand building game that is entirely just pitching fake brands for funding over the course of 5 rounds. So I'm a big fan of pitches play also too.
Love that. So desires. Where do you want to start? I think liberation or mandate sound good. One of those two.
I'm really interested to learn about the mandate.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the mandate almost at all. That's funny. We love our liberation. We love internal conflict.
We love internal conflict.
So the mandate: choose 2 desires: untold destruction, unquestioned supremacy, military expansion, an end to the Nova, hierarchy and order, dominion over the space between, and restoration of an old order. Any of those calling out to people?
I like, for different reasons, both military expansion and end to the Nova. End of the Nova plays really well into my order not existing anymore. Military expansion, I just think, gives us an immediate sense of conflict too.
I was also thinking about
either of those, right? I'm good with, yeah.
You were thinking about both of those?
It would be interesting to do one of the space between Nova ones, just because we do have a character that's actually connected to it.
Yeah, I love End to the Nova, and the idea that your order has actually been mostly wiped out also adds to my character's nerdy interest in you, where I'm like, oh, you're one of the few remaining members of the whatever it is. Chat.
Thing, chat. What's it called? What's the order called?
Who are the combat medic Novas? But yeah, no, I find that super, super compelling. Now, here's my question. Their End to the Nova is the mandate we're picturing someone who they take over the space between, so they have all of their Sith equivalents, but the politics are less messy. Is it that, or is it just wipe out anyone who can use the space between? It's no one can use it. The space between is not a part of our world.
I think I think probably it's a bit of the second one, right? Where it's like you shouldn't use the space between. But I also feel like probably they also use it, but they don't consider. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
where it's like, oh, that's being a Nova. If you do that, that's bad. Which is also what the Jedi do. Which I'm definitely not comparing. I would never compare the Jedi to fascists.
What, the weird ascetics who think sex is bad are be compared to fascists? Why would you do that?
Yeah, I dig that they have acceptable uses of the space between. It is not what the Nova do, like, as a thing. Like I do
and
like
almost like the Nova as like a radical idea. Like, oh, the Nova were these like fighters for justice and stuff. Like specifically.
I love the idea that the mandate's public proclamation is that, like, almost that the space between use of the space between is irresponsible. We can do it in very controlled circumstances because we are the only ones responsible enough for that power. But all of you, if any individual freely chooses to do it, you are putting the universe in jeopardy.
Love that.
Cool.
I like that.
Also, I like the lay guard from chat. If you like that at all, LEY guard, like the lay guard. Though there's some other good stuff in here too.
Ooh, Mendicamentum is good. The right hand of peace. The lay guard is very good. The cloister is very good also too. But I think lay guard is excellent. LEY guard.
Cool. So we got.
Thank you, indignant smirk.
Yes. Wow, it's our second from the. Wait, no, I had to abandon my indignant smirk name because it was too close to Carol. Sorry, I kept the last name. So we've got End to the Nova, and then I'm down for military expansion because I think we talked about the mandate being at the peak of their power. Like that's why a chance to turn the tide of war. So maybe like we're not in a holdout. We're not in they have complete control, but it's rather like they are getting ready to extinguish the last of the free-ish territories, and we are trying to hold the line. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I like that.
Cool. Which also sets up possible like place and motivation for our missions. So we did the mandate. Now let's do deliberation. Choose 2 desires: retaliatory violence, long shot missions, hope renewed, military strategy, imagination of a better world, ideological discourse, and working together. Long shot missions, right? It's Rogue One.
I mean, you have to do long shot missions.
It's been in every single playtest, like, of course. Cool. What's the other one? I'm leaning hope renewed.
I was also going to say
that's what's jumping out at me, I think, given a lot of the tones. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really overt in a way that I like. Because really, a dream that never dies from the Parliament and to chance to turn the tide of war are the same thing. They're both hope renewed. They both have a vision of what it means, but they both completely disagree on how that vision is realized.
This is Kay doing the rousing speech to the intelligence.
Just wait until you hear. I'm going to give multiple of those probably.
People in chat are gonna leave the stream and go join up right now. when that talk, like,
I will find you a local organization.
I don't know where I'm going, but I'm gonna get involved somehow.
Okay. The space between. Choose 2 desires: solidarity, difficult choices, balance, intense bonds and uncontainable emotions, solitary training, enlightenment, revelation, unity with those who came before.
I think based on what we've said, I think unity with those who came before.
Exactly what I was thinking. You can't wipe out the Nova. Not only are there still Nova alive, but the Nova who died are not gone. Like, not in a Force Ghost way, though that's also like a funny thing that we could bring. Wow, having that mean the Force Ghost would be very, Ray Art has everything she already had, like everything that it was in there, and she has the books in the drawer moment. Yes. Anyway, unity with those who came before.
If we want to look at it in contrast to the way we were talking about the mandate's approach to it, intense bonds and uncontainable emotions is very interesting.
Yes.
I think given that shape, right?
Yeah. just the idea of free use and expression through
Right.
this. Like, actually, it's good when people as individuals have their relationship rather than the relationship of a structured order. But I interrupted myself making a Star Wars joke. Unity with those who came before. The idea that it is not they are literally still here, but rather you can't end them because the effect they had upon the world never left. And I think we can explore that possibly in the bounds of our game.
Hell yeah.
That's a thing I very much feel about like communism, is that like we are comrades not only with those we are working with now, but with everyone who took us to the place that we are now. Like the red flag has been being carried for the past 2 centuries, and we are holding the same one. Very important to me. Cool. So, go ahead. Scum and villainy, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Choose 2 desires: uncomfortable bargains, understanding, the jackpot, secrecy, strings to pull, escape from this livelihood, fresh blood, and enough credits to get through the week.
With the with the hopeful and big risk realities we've been engaging in, I love the jackpot.
Ooh, okay. So there's some criminals who are like, we can cash in on this in a big way. Is that the thought you have? Cool. I like on. Okay.
I was just saying I like that.
Cool. Uncomfortable bargains, I think, is interesting. If like criminals are offering us a way to like achieve what we want, but in ways that don't feel good. We have Brill Bedwazi, who we've got relationships with, who maybe like comes up at a moment to be like, well, you can do it this way, but it's kind of villainous.
Yeah, I like that. I was also thinking that one. So
awesome. That's everything, folks. In the creation process. I actually think if this sounds like a good time, open door policy, I'm going to run and get a little bit more water and use the bathroom.
I think what it's a great idea to do, and I know we've got a number of people who are watching right now. We're going to take a 5-minute break so that we can all do that. If you need to take a 5-minute break at home, you should do that also. We're going to come back at let's say at about a little bit before 10 till, so about 13 till. We'll come back, sit down, and hop back in to Going Rogue, a Galactic 2nd Edition expansion. In the meantime, head over to ttrpg.link/RogueGame to check out the bundle of amazing supplements that are available as part of a bundle. I said bundle twice. It's fine. Go there, check out all the good stuff, including this game. Hey everybody, we'll be back in just 1 second, but I did want to just go ahead and remind you to go ahead and head over to that link. I just dropped it in the chat, or if you're watching over on YouTube or Facebook, it's in the description below to go check out Going Rogue and all the amazing supplements that are part of that. Also, if you haven't picked up Galactic 2E, now is a great time. It's an absolutely great game that we've enjoyed playing here on stream and has now become a tradition every May 4th. In the meantime, we've got a couple of great things coming up that I would love to tell you about. Tomorrow, I'm sitting down with Jason Cordova, who's head of Gauntlet Publishing and creator of The Between, and most importantly, Brindlewood Bay, which is live on Kickstarter right now, to talk about Jason's design ethos and some of my favorite moves and other design elements that Jason has made that I get totally obsessed with and can't get out of my head. So come back and hang out with us tomorrow afternoon for that. Also, next Tuesday, we're sitting down with another Jason Morningstar, to talk about desperation, as well as the impact that Jason has had on the indie RPG scene through creating games like Fiasco and other amazing things. We also have a few other games coming up over the course of this weekend, including Night Things and a few other pieces. If you want to get notified about any of those, go ahead and hit follow to get notified when we go live. If you want to catch the videos after the fact, head over to our YouTube channel. That's over in a link down below, or you can go to youtube.com/+1exp to get notified whenever we go live. You can also check out all of our games and other things in the links down below. We'll be back in just 1 minute to keep on playing Going Rogue. And we are live again here on Plus One EXP, continuing to go Rogue, playing Galactic 2nd Edition. My favorite way to play around in games where you have wars in the stars. With that said, it is an expansion that is live right now over on HP. You can get it with a bunch of other amazing supplements for Galactic 2E by going to ttrpg.link /RogueGame, which is right below my face right there. Also, if you are just joining us and want to catch up on the rest of the video later, you can head over to YouTube. Or if you want to go let people know that we are hopping into the narrative play portion out of the world building play portion of our game, you can go retweet the tweet on Twitter that I'm about to drop into the chat here on Discord. But Jess, you were just starting to say something about the structure of BOB games right before we went live. Go ahead and why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, not that I know that people can hear me. I was talking about how idle dreaming is a thing that's not as explicitly mentioned in the Galactic books or in Going Rogue, but I like it a lot, so I wanted to explain it. Belonging Outside Belonging has this idea / mechanic of you start play just by talking about what are things that our characters have done, which we've kind of already done with the Ask Left and Rights. Like, what are some ideas that we have? And then when one of them becomes compelling enough that we start adding like detail and stuff like that, we realize, oh, we're starting a scene sort of naturally. It's this flow of play that doesn't have to be encounter. And I think it's a really good way to approach things. And then like when you finish a scene, you start idle dreaming again, saying like, oh, what else might happen? And that's how you hop into the next thing. It just is really fluid. And I like to explicitly introduce it for people unfamiliar with GM-less or narrative or diceless games, because it's a really useful system. So we just start with talking about like, where are we? What's going on? What do our characters do together until something compels us? So that sound good, y'all?
Yeah.
Cool. Unless anyone has explicit ideas, I just wanted to recount some of the things we'd established that I think might kick us off. But if people are like, I actually know somewhere I want to hop in, please go ahead.
If you want to recap, I'm down with that, unless Riley has an idea.
I have no ideas.
Cool. So we talked about how pretty recently Deck was introduced to my class, was introduced and like found out that we were not quite the world-weary, experienced of hardship people that, what are Deck's pronouns?
We'll just do he, him.
Cool. That he thought that we were, or was kind of sold that we were. We also established between our characters, Riley, that you were very much like, oh yeah, go ahead, and also that your trust in me is through your commanding officer. So it does seem like this commanding officer is the person who has in some way brought us together.
Yeah, that would make sense.
We've also established that the mandate is really pushing towards the edges of the galaxy, like trying to finish this military expansion. I'm a little bit curious about the idea that our involvement is almost an accident. The idea that like we're stretched thin and we all happen to be in the same place at the same time because of this commander, and they need all hands on deck, and that throws us into the thick of things. But that doesn't have to be. That's just one possibility. It could also be that this scheming officer has like set us up for something. Or
we could say it's the former and then figure out it's the latter.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, let's roll with that. So I'm starting to envision that this is maybe sort of in the aftermath of Deck being introduced to this class. We also established that Deck and Caro, that Caro recently saved Deck from, like, got Deck out of a bad situation. So maybe if that's also very recent, then maybe the reason you're at this base, the reason you're at this moon base or whatever, is that Deck was literally brought here when like airlifted off wherever Deck was.
Yeah.
And then
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Cool.
Yeah. And I love the idea of even, was it like on a tour of like, was it the attempt to be like, okay, here's a new fresh body that showed up. Let's give Deck the rounds. I don't necessarily know, like, I don't, like, we can determine and play, but I also even wonder, like, does anyone even know that I am an old Nova at this point in time? Like, maybe your fascination with me even is more like, oh, that faded out patch that looks like the lines of like the Lay Guardians. Like, where did you get that vintage Lay Guard gear?
Tony, I want to hop in right there because
Yeah.
I love that. The idea that maybe to make sure everyone's in the scene, if that's okay, I like the idea that Caro, you've been assigned to try and sell like Tony's character on the Liberation because you're the only one that Tony's character like Beck trusts a little bit. So you're touring him around, and then
Caro is not happy about this.
Which is great. I love when Caro is not happy. Sorry. Does that sound good?
Yeah,
I love it.
Cool. So let's hop into like literally we finished. There's some sort of like ceremony, boot camp ceremony that has just finished, and like we started the schmoozing time. And like Kay comes like running up to Deck and is like, "Is that a vintage Legard patch? Where did you get that? Did you make it yourself?"
Yeah.
I made these myself.
Yeah, no, I'm okay. It's old. Used to belong to a friend. Yeah. I mean, I picked it up somewhere along the way.
Oh. Do you know where that friend got it?
I think it was given to them also too.
Well, all of the best things are like passed down. That's how I got all my books. Oh, sorry. I didn't introduce myself. And she like adjusts her helmet up, which she wore to this ceremony. Like it has, in the course of her talking, like fallen down again, and she pulls it up. And she's like, I'm Ensign Liz. Are you?
I'm gonna trigger a weak move, and all of a sudden, I think this has drawn the attention of like other graduates who are equal to, and I'm now surrounded very uncomfortably by a gaggle of students who you are explaining this to.
Wait, okay, just before we get too far in the scene, have Caro and Kay met yet, or is this also where they're meeting?
Oh, that's right. So I would know you theoretically. Because what have we established between our characters? That it's through your commanding officer. And I caught that lie. So yes, we do.
Probably we do know each other then.
Yeah, we probably know each other
from
training, I would say. That like you were assigned to lead some sort of training that I was participating in. If that sounds good.
Yeah, and I'm sure like if my commanding officer was like, "Hey, we have like a promising new recruit," then like we talked, and then I was like, "Oh, I hate this kid."
Yes, absolutely. Commander puts you in things that you hate all the time.
Yeah, no, this isn't new.
Yes. So yeah, I'm like, I think what happened was that like I walked up. I'm gonna preface back a second. I walked up and I was like, "Oh, what's your rank? Are you agent? Agent?
I like
Cool.
agent.
Cool.
Something simple.
So like she walks up and she like looks at you and it takes like a half second and is like, "Agent Coy," and like salutes in a very unnecessary way and then turns and gets excited at Deck.
She just rolls her eyes. Good shit.
Yeah. Also, I love your interpretation, Tony, of find yourself surrounded.
Yeah,
it's not with enemies, it's with a type of new recruits.
They were given it. I'm sure y'all have better things to be doing. Isn't there?
What could be better than learning about the history of the Nova? I mean, they changed everything.
Look, I don't have a lot to tell you about the Nova.
Okay, but like, can I at least take a picture?
Someone else in the audience.
Well, they're surrounded.
Yeah, okay, absolutely. I'm making sure that is not coming from.
No. Sorry.
That
yeah.
Like
I love that.
Like that would go for so much on Space Depop.
Yeah. I was about to say, whatever social media, there is now a grimacing, super uncomfortable picture of Deck Rebar with this graduating class.
Okay, now a silly one.
And we're all being super silly while Dex being like super serious and annoyed.
Yeah, Kara has just stepped away.
Cool. Look at my moves. That's
The
fine.
strong move vanished without anyone noticing.
Again, very different context. Love that. Oh, and you get a token, Tony. So for those unfamiliar with
I
POV,
took one, yeah.
cool. Tokens help sort of move narrative agency around. Weak moves give you a token, and not weak moves. You call them something different. Don't
Vulnerable.
Vulnerable moves give you a token, and strong moves spend a token. Okay. Cool. My next question, as this moves along, do we want to be sort of interrupted by alarm bells sort of thing? Or do we want to move towards a more intentional mission?
I think being interrupted by alarm bells is fun because then we get to figure out what they are.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. My next question then. Mandate has moves. Setting elements have pillars have moves. Foreshadow a larger threat and gain a token. Put someone in immediate danger and give them a token. Intercept information or supplies and give a token who you've taken it from. Okay, so I think I'm going to invoke a mandate move, which is foreshadow a larger threat and gain a token. So we're having this excited conversation, and then you see, and because we're in Star Wars. Wow, I almost said Stargate. Because we're in Star Wars, it makes
whatever.
All of the above.
Those movies.
There's gates in Star Wars. I've seen them.
Rogue One has a gate. It closes and opens. You know, they smash into it. It's sad. I cried. But we see mandate fighters overhead in the sky, like. Just suddenly like a wing of like 3 fighters are passing way ahead. And I look up like, are those mandate ships?
Yeah, looks like it. That's not good. That's not how Kara talks. I don't know why I'm doing it like that. She says it, but like more matter of factly.
Well, looks like y'all should get flying then.
She like grabs her helmet and holds it so that it's not in her eyes, like just holds it there. But remember, one of the things my character wants to learn is grace under pressure. We've established that. It's like suddenly she's like, wait, like now? I'm still in training. And she looks at Agent Coy and it's like, do I have to fly now? Is that?
Well, you know, I'm sorry. The thing about me is that I'm very bad at talking in character. Actually, I'm just not gonna not talk in character.
That's fine.
Right? I think that she just.
Oh, I was just saying, yeah, describing what she does.
Yeah,
really
she
fine.
just kind of like looks at her like, you know, like eyebrows raised and is just like, well, you know, the main squad that usually would deal with this, they're doing this mission, and then the reserve squad is over here doing this mission. So like, you know, you're all that's left. And I think like also probably there's like whatever like teacher or something is like also directing people, because like it's not just like if Kara wasn't there then they just wouldn't know what to do, you know. That's true. So like at that point the teacher comes over and is like, come on, you've trained for this, you're ready for this, clap clap clap. I won't do that to the stream. And it's like, okay, let's get to the hangar everybody. And does that sound like good as our character motion to the hangar? Take the scene to the hangar. What if move from the intelligence? Move from the intelligence. Where's the intelligence? Take someone aside for a secret meeting and gain a token. So like we're on our way to the hangar, and Commander Tane like comes out of a hallway and like gets your attention, Caro, and Love
is like, bring the 2 of them, like points to the 2 of them and is like, come with me. Is that fun? I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Cool. So how do you get us to redirect ourselves? How do you get my excited pilot to not run off to the hangar?
Oh, I think she just grabs your arm. It's just like, come on, let's go.
But captain says that I'm supposed to.
Yeah, no, come on. Higher rank. Let's go.
And then she like looks at your like epaulets or whatever your rank pin is.
Yes. No, she wouldn't have epaulets, but I do love epaulets.
I love epaulets. And she just like looks at your uniform and is like, oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. And but like by the time she's saying that, she's already being dragged. Cool. So you know exactly where to go. You've met with Commander Tane a bunch of times. And if anyone, people don't mind if I play Tane.
Please
Absolutely.
So I'm going to hold my head up high and gain a token. So I'm going to take another token for the intelligence. And Tane, like, sitting at the desk. So, as I'm sure you're all aware, there are mandate ships over us right now.
Okay, you said that. Sorry, you said that, and I'm in the basement, and somebody must have dropped something on the floor above me, and that was kind of scary.
We have Foley now.
Oh my god, it's the mandate ship.
That would be very bad news. I'm glad. Hopefully not.
Hopefully it's not the Star Wars bad guy.
May the 4th, it's becoming real. It's when
the Empire could be at the fridge.
It's when the threshold between Star Wars and the real world is the weakest on May 4th.
God.
Halloween Town Star Wars. Anyway, what system is this? This is Going Rogue, which is a supplement to Galactic. Sorry, this is chat. I'm just going to say real quick before I continue my speech. This is a supplement to Galactic, which is by Riley, which is itself a implementation of Belonging Outside Belonging, a system by Avery Alder and Benjamin Rosenbaum. And you can find it in a whole bundle at ttrpg.link/RogueGame, which I'll post again. Thanks for asking. So, as I was saying, there's mandate ships overhead right now. While your comrades may be panicking, it's really no problem. This was... Let's just say that because the ships are here, they aren't elsewhere. And that's where I need the three of you to be. Those ships are supposed to be guarding something. What are they supposed to be guarding? What are they supposed to be guarding that we're about to be sent into?
I feel like it has to be some kind of like Nova artifact or...
Yeah, I like
kind
that.
of established that as a thing.
I always forget. This is one of my, it is one of my favorite things. I always forget that in the Star Wars universe, there's just like weird old artifacts dotting the galaxy that matter, but it's also not really a thing in the movies at all.
Maybe they're excavating an old Nova temple, and like it's usually well guarded, but now it isn't. Does a Nova temple sound like a fun setting element or the place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want, was this one of the first places, was this a Nova stronghold that they struck early on in their attempt?
Yeah, and then maybe abandoned because they were just like, it's done, it's decimated. But now they realize actually there's power left here, so we want to go back and excavate things from it.
I like that.
I was just about to name the planet Taylor because it's the first thing that came to me, but then I realized that would just be spelled like the name Taylor, and I can't do that.
I think Star Wars could have a planet named Taylor.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. The planet is Taylor.
We spell it however we want to spell it.
TEI''.
Yeah, absolutely. TILOR. LORR. Sorry, there's two R's.
Oh, of course.
Yes. This wing is usually spent guarding the planet Taylor, on which one of the oldest known Jedi temples once stood.
What's a Jedi? I'm just kidding.
Oh. Thanks for catching me there. One of the oldest Nova temples once stood. Now, Liberation Intelligence may have decided to reveal the location of this base for the purpose of drawing this wing away. We would like to send the three of you. It's an opportunity we don't have very often to have the presence of a Nova at this base, and nods towards deck.
Deck looks tremendously uncomfortable.
Oh, wait. And what's her name? Kay didn't know that you were a Nova yet. So like Kay is like literally like completely taken out of the gravity of the moment with the realization that your patch is probably up. No, she hasn't put that together yet. It was just like the idea that you're a Nova, just like, and she's just staring at you. And continues. That we have a Nova and one of our more dedicated spies. And
Kara like nods.
a capable pilot.
Kara snorts.
Oh no! I think there's a moment of, but then she's just too distracted again by the Nova to really take in the.
I love her.
I'm glad.
In character, I hate her. Out of character, I love her. The ideal character.
Yeah, I was about to say that's the vibe I want for all my characters. So yeah, Commander Tane, like a capable pilot. Now, just because this wing is away does not mean that this mission will be trivial. It only means that we believe that you will be able to enter the atmosphere. The temple itself is well guarded, to say the least, and it will take all of your skills to retrieve whatever it is that the mandate is looking for down there. So, Godspeed. This is your assignment.
Are we just doing Indiana Jones?
Oh no!
A different Harrison Ford property. Shh.
I think I did go a little Indiana Jones. Is that all right?
No, I just like you were just saying it all, and I was putting it together, and I was like, this is. I think this is the plot of Indiana.
Are we gonna do an Indiana Jones? Absolutely. We'll see how much of an Indiana Jones it is at the end.
Yes.
I can't wait for Dakota Smith 2E coming soon to Riley Renthal's.
Oh God. No, I didn't like that movie enough. No offense to the. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah, what's Deck's reaction to getting roped into this?
Yeah, so
getting doxxed.
So and doxxed. So you think a moderately competent spy, a not even out of training school pilot, and a washed up old medic are going to make a difference in this? I say as I respond to someone's hope with cynicism.
Yes, nice move usage. I'm really interested in Caro's reaction here. Like, how do you feel about both this mission being given and this person who's very resistant to take responsibility for this mission?
Okay, I think one thing that I was in my head since the beginning, but I didn't actually say out loud. I just said that she's like Jace Rethel, but I definitely think that July is like a Nova, like, you know, or in whatever way that means.
Oh.
Has space between powers, is associated with the Nova.
That's what makes her so inspirational, part of it.
Yeah, well, of course. Right, because she's connected. She's good at piloting, and she's connected to the history. That wasn't really an answer though. Yeah, I think that I'm wondering like if Caro is used to this nonsense or if she's used to being sent on missions alone. I kind of like the idea that she's used to doing stuff alone.
Does she object here? Or just like so duty driven she doesn't?
Well, I don't think that she's a very good pilot.
Yes, it can't.
So she can't, like, she couldn't do it alone. But so probably the thing is, like, probably she's like, yeah, I'm used to like having a pilot with me. Don't like this one though. And also this other guy, I don't know this other guy. Like, he's cool. Like, listen, we're cool, but like, I don't know.
Totally.
But also, I'm not into it either.
Yeah.
So.
Which I think probably warms her up a bit, you know. Like, okay, well, at least someone is being pragmatic here. Okay.
Oh, is that allowed? Or is that internal?
No, I think that's internal. I'm like pro. I'm like processing what she's thinking to be like, what does she actually like say?
Mhm.
Right, which I think is probably just like agreeing with Deck to be like, well, he has a point. This is not about the mediocre spy thing.
We can pull that back. I'm 100% willing to pull that back because it
Oh
felt
no,
a little,
no.
like
That's not.
he's
That's
no. In the sense of like, I don't actually know that that's fully his tone. Like, especially if you're used to being a solo operator, like that may be the path he goes down to, right? Like, so like, I also think he said moderately competent, but like essentially that this is not a good crew for this is his insinuation.
yeah. And I think Kara's like, he's right.
And I think Tane responds, let's see. I think Tane responds, why does Tane want to use this no one pilot? I think the answer is expendable. And I think Tane is going to try to communicate this indirectly, like in a way that like Caro can pick up without anyone else, though probably also Deck picks it up. Of just like, this is the right team. This is the right team for the job. This is a dangerous mission, and I will be completely honest. Not everyone may come back from it. We are stretched very thin, and right now, it needs to be the people we have. That's you. And I think looks at you and gives this like knowing look of like what the people we have has meant in the past. Like when they have asked you to sacrifice people in the name of the mission, it has been the justification of it's the people we have. And so it's trying to like nudge you in that direction of like work with these people because you need a Nova for getting this artifact, and if this one doesn't come back, they don't come back.
Yeah, and I think Kara's like fine with that is the thing.
Yeah. Does that like quell some of the doubts there?
No, because I don't think those are the doubts.
Yeah.
Right,
Absolutely.
like I think she gets that. She just like doesn't want to do this mission, but it's like, well, somebody has to, and like,
yeah,
because that's like also her thing. It's like if somebody's gonna have to do it, I'll do it.
Oh, yes. I think like they see some of the remaining like hesitation on your face, and they go, well, Agent, if you have someone more suitable in mind, I can send them to this planet.
She just like crosses her arms and like, I think this is a thing they do a lot.
Yeah,
like I think this is a very familiar. She's like, yeah, I'll do your mission.
Yeah. And then, do you think your character needs more convincing, Tony? Because I've also got a couple of moves here of ask what you can do for me and give them a token if you take them up on their answer.
No, because my character also has a move that is sigh and join someone on their quest. So like absolutely like he like I think recognizing like okay like whether or not I like this kid or not like essentially like my principle is I won't let this kid get hurt. And if I just heard them in front of me say like, yeah, we're sending y'all on a mission and like this kid isn't going to come back, y'all will be fine. I'm just like, fuck that. Like there's no way he isn't going on the mission, even if he does not want to be around this kid. Like it would not be in Deck's nature to be able to say no at that point in time. So he will sigh and go and join someone on their quest.
I love the combat medic who joins to protect the young little kid. Oh, okay. And I think Kay is just like, am I really ready for this? And like looks at each of you and Tane. I don't want to get in the way of the mission or anything. Not that I don't want to. I'm sure this is very important. It's important. So I don't want to mess it up. And she like puts her head down and her helmet falls and she looks calm again. Do we get
Yeah,
response from anyone? If not, I could do Tane or something.
No, I think like at that point in time, like this it like triggers the other side of this where I'm like, if I have to keep this person alive, I'm going to keep them alive. Like all of a sudden I kind of square up, and it almost looks, I think, lightly as if the outfit I'm wearing like almost billows a little bit as I turn, and I kind of gather myself up to my full height, like my normally kind of sunken and withdrawn face, like my chin pops up, and I say, whether you're ready for this or not, it's happening. And so if you aren't willing to get in there and get the fight, what did you even show up here for? Like, why are you here if not for this, if not for this time, if not for this thing? Why did you even join? And I'm going to intimidate someone in order to get what I want, which is, I keep on wanting to say K. Is that right?
Yes.
In order to get K, like, not inspired, but like more scared of me in the moment than of like what may be out there.
Yeah, and I think there's a combination of like, I love this because it's like Deck's tough love, right? Like Deck is there to protect, but also is like the way I do that is by
like I will. Yeah, I'm just gonna tell you like button up, Buttercup. Like it's time.
Yeah, and I think in some ways that's actually exactly what she needs in this moment. She's like, yeah, that's what the liberation does. That's what we do. Yeah, I got this. Let's go.
Yeah, I was gonna have Kara say something mean, but I feel like you got it covered.
Cool. So I think with that, like she's already rising from her seat. And Tane's like, I'll send you a data package on your way. Take one of the transport ships.
Kara like salutes.
And then as you all are heading out, Tane puts a hand on your shoulder, Kara, and pulls you back. And is like, if you can't retrieve the artifact, destroy it.
Kara nods.
And I think that's our closing there.
I like that a lot.
Cool. Yeah.
Cut to external on a transport ship.
Yes, absolutely. So do we want to be like on the transport on the way there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we see us going to light speeds.
Yeah.
As we go plaid.
Oh God, I haven't seen Spaceballs in forever. Yeah. I think you see me in the front, like nervously checking the controls a million times. Like I am checking the panels way more than like an experienced pilot would be. Like, okay, I activated the flux capacitors before I flushed the coolant, and and like camera pan back to the two of you. I'm guessing not freaking out.
Yeah, I think Kara's probably like reading over all of the information in the whatever you said, data packet.
Yeah, data packet. I think something like that.
Sure, on her space tablet or whatever. No, this is Star Wars. It's like partisan. It only has one function, so it's just
right
for intelligence briefings and stuff.
Yes. I love the Friends at the Table reference. We could not do a session without one.
I've already talked about my ex-girlfriend being like a Friends at the Table character. So.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know the name.
Fair enough. Yeah, well, I mean, he's also my OC, but like.
And Tony, how about your character? What's your vibe on the way to?
I think like it's like hood up, and it looks like crotchety old man sprawled out taking a nap. What I think I'm actually doing, and I'm reading through a couple moves right now. Hold on just a second. I don't know that there's a move I'm triggering right now. I think we kind of internally see a conversation with, and Chad, I need another name. I think we see a conversation play out, like mentally between Deck and an old member of his order, like his
Oh, the
closest
comrade that he lost.
yeah, and so I think it's not, we're not going to go Force Ghost at this moment. We can go Force Ghost later on if we want to.
Is it a memory?
Crimbo, Van Carrick, I like. Van Carrick's very good. Oh, Indignant Smirk, you did it again. Van Carlock. Essentially like running down why this is a bad idea. Like, like this is Deck having a space between conversation, about like his hesitation to do this, and how like why should he even go back to this? Because I'm sure this is a place he has been before, from long ago. Like why should he even go back here after everything that happened? Like I think we see kind of this internal conversation playing out between him and Van.
Is this the like Van that he has sort of constructed the same way like people talk to people who aren't here anymore, because that's the thing that they find comforting in movies. We like see that play out in their head. Or is it like a space between things?
I think at this point, narratively, we don't know. Like I think that like, because it's just apparent to him, it's a question about like how force attuned or how space between attuned would you have to be to notice this thing, or is this just an old man who's a little off his rocker, having a probably light Car could probably hear this in the way that you can hear somebody who's mentally processing something to themselves, like talk through it. And if somebody wants to play Van, we can 100% have that conversation. I just hate talking to myself.
I would be happy to, though. Riley, if you want to play Van, you're also welcome to.
You can go for it. I was gonna ask a question though, I can't remember what it was. Oh, did you say, I don't know if you said it or if I was just thinking it, is this temple like specifically of significance to like your order?
I don't know that we know yet. I'm totally open to that as a reality.
Fair enough.
I think I like this is maybe, if we said it was a stronghold, I think this is probably a prominent thing for a lot of Nova orders. What this artifact is could be anything though.
Sure, yeah.
Cool. I like that this was the idea of like a coalition, drawing upon what we said about like this was where the Nova came together. So it was also the first place the mandate hit. It was the idea of
I like that.
What if like that was what the Nova was, like a name for like these like disparate groups of space between users, wielders, like fighting against the early mandate.
Even like there being a point on a Nova blast for every single order, and like they're constantly were like etching in new ones, and this just like they just cracked it open whenever this broke in the prequel that we saw with that.
Yeah, this is heartbreaking. Thank you. Absolutely. Cool. So yeah, I'll be Van. Does Van speak first or do you?
I think like it's I think Van is probably speaks first.
Cool. And so I think Van is like he him for Van? Or something else.
I didn't have a strong conceit.
Oh, you see. I think Van is like, what is it? Well, I see you're not completely disinterested in our mission anymore.
I mean, just because I'm here doesn't mean I'm not disinterested.
You've liked to pretend that for years, Deck. It's never been as true as you thought it was.
It's never been as false as you thought it was.
There's this like half chuckle. I won't argue with this with you. It's been too many years. I'm happy to see you revisiting this. It shouldn't be as buried as it has been. Don't let them destroy it, Deck.
I mean, it's It's already pretty destroyed. I honestly don't see what difference anything we find in a pile of rubble is going to make one way or another.
Have you truly cut yourself off from the space between that much? If you listen, you'll know why you're going there.
That feels really good as far as a good narrative pause point.
And that's, I think, when Kay pops up. Like, you've been in this reverie the whole time, and then it turns out Kay is standing right in front of you. And she's like, so you're in Nova?
Do we watch Kay's face like lean through Van's face?
And it's like, so you're in Nova?
People are lots of things. People aren't just one thing. Are you a pilot? Is that all there is?
I contain multitudes, Kay.
And like holds her helmet. I want to be a pilot. Am I? Yeah, I'm a pilot. I'm piloting.
You're flying a ship.
Yeah.
I mean, theoretically, how's the flying going?
Oh, it's good. Once you go into hyperspace, you can leave it. I'm pretty sure. They do that all the time in Star Wars.
We hear a high-pitched, anxious
Star
whir.
Wars, the movie series that exists in this world.
Yeah. We hear a high-pitched, anxious whir of a like an astromech that's very obviously
doing a lot of work.
In the background.
Yeah. But wait, Nova, the patch. Were you in the Lay Guard?
Look, this, like I said, this isn't mine. Like, it's someone
I'm doing a mission with the Lay Guard. That's incredible. Oh my God, I have to tell all of my friends. No, I can't tell my friends. Is this a secret mission? Is this top secret? Just like a yelled response.
What can your character share right now that will make me feel sympathy for you?
Yes. Okay. So we've talked about world weariness and how, like, you want people who actually understand, like, what you have been through and what the world is like. And I don't think she does, but I think I can give a hint of that. So this is a move. This is a lateral move, correct?
Yeah.
Cool. Just for the audience. So I think the answer is that she responds, if this works for you, with she like stops herself for a second and she's like, wait, the Lay Guard were wiped out. I'm sorry. I should have been more.
Yeah, there's no Lay Guard anymore.
I want you to know that even if there isn't, it's an honor, and well, I'm glad you survived. I'm glad there's someone. Does that provoke your sympathy?
That's great.
Okay. Dream that never dies, unity with those who came before. And I think at that point, she's like, notices that you are like having emotions of some kind and is like, I've gotten it over my head. And just sort of, I think I need to check on the flux capacitors. Yeah. And goes back to the pilot's chair. Do we want anything else out of the scene? Or
Riley, how are you?
It doesn't matter. Like, oh, sorry. You go. Mine is more general.
No, I was asking, how about you? Is there anything you want?
Oh, I don't think there's a good like moment to like slip it in there, but I definitely think that Caro knows a lot about. They're not called planes. What are they? Ships? Spaceships, I guess would be the word.
Fighters?
Yeah, because because she dated a pilot, and I think that sometimes she'll just like make comments, be like, no, like it, you don't flip that switch yet, or whatever,
Right. This one. My instructor said that. Thanks. I'm surprised you know so much about ships, because you're a agent, right? They had to give you a...
Yeah,
And then
I'm not
she
much
like
of a pilot.
she like realizes why you would know about ships mid-sentence and just stops. Ships, pilots. Thanks for the advice.
I love her so much.
So I'm going to foreshadow a larger threat. I'm going to make a mandate move. So I think at that moment, like as you're like figuring it out, like we're dropping out, and I think there's an immediate like there's a sensor that's trying to like lock on to our ship, so things start going like pew 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 as you like and it's like as you hit it, you like look over at Car, like you hit it, and then all of a sudden like everything starts like klaxoning and beeping.
Oh no! Oh, I messed it up! I messed it. Do you notice that it's a sensor lock? And when I don't, Caro, like points out.
Yeah, right. I think Caro like looks around for a second and is like, this time that wasn't you. I don't think she's the character to say we've got company, but it's definitely the next line that would be
and there's
said.
there's like a beep 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 as like somebody's trying to like hail you on comms.
Oh, we get hailed by them.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Like hits the button. Good, satisfying Star Wars clunk. And it's like, hello?
Unidentified transport. We're going to need your key code in order for you to continue towards the planet, please.
Key code. Click.
Otherwise, you'll need to...
Oh, I click you off, otherwise I need to, and I click you off. And I'm like, Caro, do we have a key code?
Do we? Do I have a... The thing is, I haven't got any tokens yet.
Yeah, wow.
So I'm trying to think if there's a vulnerable move that I can do to mess this up.
Hey, here we go. Ask someone for their advice or assistance. Oh, well, outside of immediate danger. That's close enough.
I was say, I don't think we're in immediate danger.
We're not in immediate danger. So because then it would have been put someone in immediate danger and give them a token. That's a whole different move.
Yeah, perfect. Look at how well designed this system is. These systems. Wow. I wonder who did that. So I will give you the token that was given to me by Tony, and I'm now at 0 tokens. And I'm like, do we have a code?
What's the text of the move? What is...
ask someone for their advice or assistance while outside of immediate danger and give them a token if they provide it. Okay. It doesn't have to be a code. It could be advice like drop as in now or anything else.
It could also be assistance, like you know how to solve this problem.
Yes, you can get on the comms for me and work.
Yeah, I do kind of like the idea of Caro getting on the comms and just like she's not like a very talkative person, but like suddenly like because this is this very mission specific thing, she knows like exactly what to say to them, right? To be like, oh, like we're doing this, but my brain is so not. It is almost 11 p.m. My brain is not thinking of words. But she's like, oh, like we were supposed to do this, and like we have this code, which I know is from like last week, but and the person's like, yeah, okay, you can go, that's fine.
Yeah, probably some sort of appeal to like, you know how it is on these backwater planets. They never update all of our information.
Right, yeah. And she name drops like a specific officer that like
is a huge pain in the ass. Yeah.
I even like the idea like that there should be more ships here, like because of the action of drawing them away towards the base, and so like you being able to drop in like those types of details to like shore up the story.
I like that a lot.
It is an old code,
but it checks.
Out. And then click. I'm glad we have you around. And then we see ship dropping towards Atmo and cut, I think.
Yeah.
Cool.
What singular biome is this planet made of?
Yeah.
Oh, well, if it's called Taylor, it's got to be red, right?
Yes, absolutely. The people from this planet are called Swifties.
Cursed.
Yeah, really cursed. That would be a great character bit, Recombinatrix. The idea that it's 11 p.m. and my brain is not words is what we actually said to the radio operator. It's really great.
I'm just trying to dock. Like, please.
So yeah, we're on like a Mars-like planet, I'm imagining. And that also really limits our exit and entry because there's not oxygen everywhere, which is a really fun restriction.
Hate when that happens.
Yeah. I hate when there's not oxygen. I hate it when someone hasn't terraformed Mars yet.
Come on.
I play a lot of terraforming Mars.
But say the game's been around forever.
Oh yeah, wow, that's true. Why didn't they? Nature preservationist notice. So that means we have to put down on their platform. I'm gonna say in retrospect that we are driving a stolen mandate transport.
Yeah, I like that.
The only way that this makes sense. Reveal a previously unknown weakness and gain a token. That's a science decision. Well, 3 for the intelligence. The weakness was we had an old mandate ship. And so we put down. And then she's like, well, that's my part. What do we do next?
Kara probably has an answer. No, excuse me. What do we do next? I guess probably.
You have a couple
we
vulnerable
probably know where.
I was just saying you might have a couple vulnerable moves that might apply.
True. And now I do have a token, so. Let's see.
You could also get one to putting yourself in a compromising situation with no plans for backup.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I'm like, that's just what this whole mission's gonna be. But like, you know, that is a thing. I'm trying to think of like what that is. Like, I feel like we should just get to the temple. Like, we don't need other, unless someone has an idea of like another thing that we could do before that.
I'm actually gonna. I want to just to build a little bit. Because one of my favorite parts about these types of stories is the way that the world is built cinematographically, which you don't get. But like the space in between move, invoke awe, and to help make the space feel big and enigmatic is one of my favorite moves from the piece. So I love the idea of like I say I'll like you need these, and I like toss a breather to like the to Kay, and like as we step out, like we see this kind of red dusty planet all around us. We see like 2 moons and a sun all in the sky at the same time, like looming large over the top of us, like small. Like you can see like the shadows of us as we step out of the ship. This kind of crumbling like step like in front of us that's obviously got like pockmark like blaster like fire in it, and we see kind of 3 segments of us like walking across like sand and rock in order to get from, because why didn't we land close? Who knows? But we didn't. And mainly just so we get those nice panning scenes.
Because we had to land where the mandate was.
That's right. Yeah, well, of course. But I mean, also because we want those cool pans. I guess it's not a part of the move, but what weird creature do we see on this planet that's really just designed to help like goose the plush sales later on in the after movie market?
I'm imagining
I want it to be like a flying, like a little pterodactyl guy.
Literally was going to say pterodactyl.
Do we see?
Thank God.
Can we see?
Is there some kind of touchstone for like red? Like, does that come from something?
I have no idea. We're just in
That's
sync.
so funny.
Can we see a cute mouse creature first, but then the
That
pterodactyl
was the space
swoops
between
down
right
and
there.
just eats it, like in a slightly foreboding way. And
Yeah,
also, people are like, parents are slightly traumatized, but
Good.
kids are in love with that pterodactyl.
yeah, little mouse thing, really close up, and then the pterodactyl just swoops in and takes it off camera, and then you see someone step right there, and then we flash up. And I think this is actually after we see the initial landscape. It's like we see in the distance, carved into that step is the temple. Like we see
Oh,
like
hell yeah.
shapes carved into the bottom, into like a cave that seems almost man-made. And so when we cut to mouse pterodactyl step, camera up, and we are at the mouth of that cave. At the mouth of it. Do we want to run into mandate guards and have our first like encounter here, or do we want to say it's unguarded because they're short-staffed and we just get to go in? It could be an opportunity for the spy or Night Errant to shine, or we could just like
or because they're short-staffed, have they brought in mercenaries to help man the guard?
Do we run into Brill like right here?
I mean, we got to run into Brill at some point in time.
This does seem like the right place.
Like, I think we see, like, I think it's like very, like, I even like the idea that maybe we make it, like, we see us like make it past the initial guards without much trouble. And like, maybe we even get into an antechamber. And then all of a sudden, like Brill steps out of like an alcove to the side. To the side. I'm trying to
really
scroll
quick
around and find Brill right now.
Are we wearing disguises? Are we in mandate uniforms? Or are we just assuming that because they're hiring mercs, we get to wear whatever we want? People have feelings on this?
We're probably wearing uniforms, right? Like,
yeah, it feels like we need to be. And I think we see her like Kay picking at her uniform.
I like
like really uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I like the scene of like Carol being like, "Here, you gotta change into this," and Kay being like, "What? You want me to wear this?"
It's like looking at the mandate insignia and is like picking at it, and like puts her helmet on the table on the transport and like just stares at it for a second.
turns it around so the eyes don't see her.
Yeah, it's like, okay, fine, and like pushes off from the table. Okay, back to our moment.
I am not wearing this outfit well either. I think like I readily put it on, but it's like mostly open in the front. Like it's obviously not to regulation.
But that's probably normal to people.
That's fine. Yeah, we've seen like 3 other folks who are also not to. It's fine.
And then out walks
Brill. Like cut off sleeves. It's so
hot. Brill, who's like, well, welcome, and like looks at you with like a suspicious look and goes, officer.
And I think we like hear the high pitched whine and see like the laser guns that are implanted around the room like start to like power up a little bit.
Foreshadow a larger threat. That's a mandate one.
We love to give the mandate tokens.
Yeah, we're at 3 here. We're gonna have to spend those soon, which is also gonna be fun.
I was actually Brill is focused, so spends a great deal of time or energy attempting perfection. So this is more about Brill being prepared in my mind than it was anything else.
Yeah, gain a token for scum and villainy. Love that. Which also lets Brill use it later.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, it's like, it's good to see you, officer. And directed at Deck.
I like the idea that like the masks we have on in no way, shape, or form, like they cover our faces, but also in no way, shape, or form hide our identities. We're here for a normal checkup.
Checkup. Is that like the checkup you were doing on Takar? That being the planet that you were just airlifted off of a few days ago after fucking up with Brill?
Never been on Dakar. I'm not, it's my first deployment.
First deployment. Yeah, I bet you've never messed anything up in your life, officer. So
I messed up plenty. You don't end up in an assignment like this without messing up.
Do you have a beard?
I mean, I gotta stay on brand, absolutely.
Yes. So I'm like, I think all those gray hairs, and it's your first assignment, huh?
Yeah, late in life, calling to the mandate, didn't realize I hated people until I was older.
I think you're just as much of a believer as I am, officer. So, with that in mind, go ahead.
Oh no, maybe this is maybe like in a second is the perfect. Okay, I don't know if this is a strong move. I'm looking at these strong moves. I don't know what it is, but I feel like spiritually this is a strong move because Caro also knows him, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I want her to like take her plasma knife that she has and just like grab him and oh my god, words, put it up against his like neck or whatever because I think it's just him, right?
And this room, him and his turrets.
Yeah.
Reveal that a tool you
listen.
need.
What's his name? Oh my god.
Brill.
Listen, Brill. Something threatening.
We don't have time for your games.
I don't know how much longer I would be able to do this.
Cool, we can try and move things along.
No, I meant it's 11.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We can move the story along if you.
But yeah, just be like, just turn this into a more hostile thing.
Yes, and I think reveal that a tool you need is already on hand, concealed. Makes sense.
Fair. That's fair. It's my knife.
Yes. I think Brill is like, whoa, let's calm things down here. I never said you weren't allowed in. And like the turrets drop. And it's like, I don't want any trouble. I'm here doing a job. I'm sure we're all here doing jobs. You don't have to make this complicated. And like the thing clicks green as he like clicks something. And the door slides open. He's like, we're good to do our jobs, right? You do yours, I'll do mine.
Yeah, Caro like slightly, pulls back and is like, right. And I mean, it's not a gun. Like she can't like point it. She can't like walk away and point at him because it's not a gun. But maybe she does anyways.
Yeah, like just pointing it like I could throw this at you. Like
yeah, fair enough.
Cool. And Kay is horrified. Not in like this is bad, but like, oh god, when did this situation turn into I've never been just like looking back and forth. And I think she doesn't even walk through the door as the two of you do. Like she's rooted in place. And who does anyone do anything in that case? She's like frozen.
Caro would probably grab her, but I think she's preoccupied with making sure that this guy doesn't attack anyone.
How about my savior and protector deck? What do you do with my frozen?
Yeah, I think the I don't think it's obvious to you, but like as you're doing it and like Car goes to grab you, like you're near one of those like mechs, and all of a sudden like we see one of these things, and all of a sudden like a little spark jumps out from one of those things and just like zaps you in order to like motivate you across the room.
Okay, and then I like stumble through. Absolutely. So for the sake of moving the story along, because we're a little pressed on time, and sadly this can't be a 2 or 3 session campaign, I think what I want to do is turn this sort of into a big deal, in that I want her to be kind of freaked out, and that can lead us directly into some more like central conflict. What I mean is that like she didn't estimate the amount of danger that we're in here, and she's now being asked to, like, she didn't really know how much danger she was walking into here, and it's becoming real. And this is the like moment of truth where she's asked, like, we're gonna do this, and then we throw ourselves into like a very intense moment that can set up going to the artifact and finishing things up. Does that sound helpful as a general plan?
Yeah.
Cool. And that also might be where we end up in the taking on the sacrifice fate if we do, is like realizing the only way to get to the finish is going to be something like that. We'll see based on pacing. I'm not sure if we'll get there, but okay. So yeah, I think we like come out in like a little antechamber, or maybe even like we hide for a second because we realize things just went wrong and we need to like regroup. And Kay's like, oh my God, I didn't know that you were gonna have to suddenly, I thought there'd be more warning if we were gonna, can you warn me next time?
No, that kind of defeats the purpose.
Kid, there's no warning. This is just how it is.
Just how it is. Just how it is. Oh my God. Oh my God, we could have been shot. We could have been shot. Just how it is. I think there's like something that she needs here. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. Something that, again, her motivator here is like she really believed both in the history of the liberation is something you can appeal to, like the idea that like there are inspirational things that have happened and she's now part of it, or the idea that like this is how change happens. Like she joined up because she was like, look at what the liberation's doing in the universe, and like being like, you're a part of this, so like that's why you need to brave up. Does anyone have something to say to her?
Yeah, I think that works with Caro's deal of like being honest about what we're doing, you know?
Yeah.
Right? And like I think that like she's been really annoyed with Kay because Kay's annoying. And like because it feels like she has this like very fake idea that's kind of exemplified by hero worshipping her ex-girlfriend. But just like in general, like, you know, but like sees that like she's like really scared and like that's different. Right. And it's just like listen, kid, like you know all of these stories and stuff, and like that's great. But they only tell you the best ones, you know? They don't tell you about the times that you have to pull a knife on somebody because they were about to shoot you with a turret. But that happened to all those guys, and you know, they never would have been heroes if it hadn't.
Heroes. Yeah. Yeah. Is that what we're doing here? Being heroes?
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, but who knows?
Okay. I guess that's why I'm here, right? To try that? Yeah. Okay. I can do this. And her hand goes to like her hip blaster they've given her, like Mandate style hip blaster. Let's do this. And she takes the blaster.
No.
And then I guess like lowers it back down. Right. Not until I need it. Defeat the purpose. Right. Thanks, Carol. And I think like she's the one that opens the door.
Is that a lateral move? Should I give you a token for that?
Yeah, I think
to put themselves at risk for the mission and give them a token if they do.
Yeah, both that and persuade a hesitant individual and action is worth the consequences. So I think,
you know what? It's both of them.
Yes, cool. So I'll take one token. And you know what? I think that I stumble out the door. I open up the door, and there is. I still have the blaster. I haven't put it fully away. And suddenly there's two Mandate people like standing at the door. Like as it opens, and when I'm trying to decide, either Kay could just like suddenly shoot them, like out of just reflex, though I'm not sure this is the right moment.
Yeah, that feels
for
like
it.
a bit much.
Yeah, but I think one of the two of you has a thing you could do here. Like
I like. I mean, I like the idea. So you get in. I like the idea. Do you hit one of them or do you just miss both of them?
oh yeah, I like turn and I'm like, right, not until it would defeat the purpose, and then they're right there, and I fire and I just hit the floor, like because I was putting it down.
Cool.
But I've started the fight.
Right.
Um,
so you, and obviously I think there's just like a lot of laser fire. Like you step through, you're like, and then like like I think we see, you know, all of a sudden like in the middle of this like deck step forward, you know, there's all of a sudden this like shining rod in his hand as his like astral blade, his old but functional like astral blade like pops out and just cuts into one of these guys and then slices over the other one. There's just smoke hanging in the air. And as so I'm gonna win a fight I didn't start.
yes.
But then I think I'm gonna turn back to you. What emotion is in your eyes right now? Like as I do this, like as you all of a sudden see like a full glimmer of the Nova that I once was.
God, I think it's pure shock. And in the shock, what you see is a need to make sense of this. Like, because like she's simultaneously experiencing terror, failure, awe, and horror, both terror at her own safety, but then horror at like two people just got killed before me.
Right.
And all of those emotions on her face. And she's like, she doesn't know how to sort this into what happened. She can't narrativize it in her head. And she wants something to latch onto. You can see that.
Great. I look at Kay in the eyes and I say, war is ugly. And it's great to want to be a hero, but heroes don't make it home.
And then alarm bells go off.
Classic.
As like someone retreats down the hallway, we like realize someone was watching. And alarm bells go off. And I think scene cuts there and opens on us like panting after we ran. And I'm trying to think if Kay would do this. I think Kay's like the let me look at my moves. There we go. Rush overconfidently into more danger than you can handle. That's my vulnerable move I'm doing. Rush overconfidently into more than you can handle.
Good.
And she's like, okay, well, the alarm's going off, which means if we're going to do this, we got to go now, right? Just like right there, straight there. We got to go.
Like you mean to the place where the artifact is?
Yeah, let's assume we know the path to the artifact, but we were expecting to like take an indirect route that like was safer and stuff like that.
I see.
She's like, we're out of time. We got to go right there, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, maybe Kara will also just do the vulnerable move, put yourself in a compromising situation with no plan for backup and become exposed.
Yep.
And be like, yeah, we don't really have another choice.
Cool. I think this is also the sacrifice fate. Trigger. Ask any number of people to follow you into a mission with impossible odds. Each character who agrees gains a token and joins this fate. Does this sound like we want to take that on now?
Sure.
Cool.
So is that a second token or is that a replacement for the...
I think Kay does that move and then begins this process. And so each of you gain a token if you agree. So Riley, you'll get 2 tokens, 1 for your move.
Cool.
And then Deck, do you agree to move forward?
So Deck agrees to move forward. Deck would have a really hard time with Kay moving forward into a sacrificial act, I think.
So what do you say in this moment?
Well, I think for me, I think there's a character question here.
Yeah.
I say there's a player question here, because I'm happy to play it out no matter what. Is there a scenario? Because also I don't know how the fate move works totally yet. So, is there a scenario in which your character does not die?
So there are 3 fate moves that we have to invoke sequentially, which will probably be the close of our game is doing those 3. Introduce a threat standing in the way of your mission and gain a token. So probably that'll be the next thing that happens as we figure out why does it seem like we can't make it. Reveal a binary choice. Retreat under fire to an exit during a rapidly closing window, or forge on to the objective. All fated characters choose individually. Those who retreat are spared this fate and no longer share it. This fate gains a token. So yes, there's explicitly an opportunity where she could get out, and then observe the objective of the mission in sight behind a graded obstacle, gain a token, and then you two, if my character were to retreat, you two would sacrifice themselves. What I'm imagining, if we want to, again, keep moving this along pretty quick, is that what is going to happen in the next scene or two, or closing scene or two, is someone has to get the artifact out, and you decide it's going to be Kay.
Cool.
Does that make sense? Is where we're going?
That does make sense to me as far as where we're going. Like that was the conversation I wanted to have. So that 100%.
Cool. And maybe Kay doesn't like that, and Kay also doesn't intend that. So like in this moment, you try and discourage her, and she doesn't listen. But then we have a nice character moment where she does listen.
Cool.
So do you want to say something like push back, and then we'll have Kay push through that and revisit that in the next scene?
We can. I mean, we can narrative beat it. I also am fine saying I'm like, all right, Kay, this is where you get off, like, you know, and you're just like, no, and then we can move forward too.
Cool. Yeah, I think I just want to have Kay have like a line there, and is like, no, you just said it. This is what war is, and even if I were to go back now, I'm going to the same thing. That if I'll be ready then, I'm ready now. Let's go.
I think I just look you in the eyes and say, you're not a hero, kid.
Give me 1 second. You're not a hero, kid.
I mean, if you want to respond, you can. I'm also totally great if like something horrible happens as you're about to respond.
I would really like, this is going to be so cheesy. There's a piece of Mandate propaganda that says, everyone is a hero.
Yes.
And I just respond, everyone is a hero, Deck. And then I move down the hallway with my blaster at the ready.
Wait, sorry, did you mean mandate or did you mean
liberation? Oh, sorry. Liberation. Sorry. Oops.
Okay. No, I was like, oh, Umberto Echo over here. All right.
Not quite. But yeah, no. But does that sound good? Like everybody.
That's
cool.
Great.
It's time for me to get back in my emotional about the concept of heroism phase.
Yes. And I think we're going to get to challenge what heroism means in the scene where she retreats.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm not setting this up as like she's right. Again, everyone's a little wrong in going rogue, as I introduced earlier. That is her motivation right now, and then we get to question that in the climax. So, climax. Big room. No guardrails. We haven't done that yet. It's Star Wars. There's no guardrails. We're talking about like a cave.
Are we lava, or are we spikes, or do we hear something growling down below?
We have dug far enough looking for this artifact that it's lava.
Okay.
Has come up. So we've got this lava below. And also, I'm going to cut back and say that a thing that happened is when the alarm went off before we got to the new scene, we also saw a hand turn off the alarm in that room and draw an astroblade that ignites red.
Ooh.
Does that sound okay? Just to give us a way that there's enough danger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I know I'm introducing a lot of things, but just for moving us along.
I love it.
Cool. So we're in the room where we know that things are supposed to be. And we're like,
Okay, can it not be red though? Can it be like an obsidian? Like, can we do something that separates it a bit more?
yes, absolutely, because the
Especially if
Sith
it's
are.
lava.
Oh yes, true.
Something that obviously denotes is as you're in the dungeon that you've entered into a new section of it, and so threat levels have changed.
Do we want to do something that's like almost like weird color, like weird with a Y, like it is the inversion of light? It's not black; it is the absence
Oh
of light as a
yeah.
blade.
Or do we want so this is a sacred ancient Nova place, so we had it as this conglomeration. Do we want like it's lava, but different reams of color are wiggling through this space? Like there's weird space between energy here.
Absolutely, blue lava that also has like almost a rainbowish oil slick aspect to it.
Oh, that rules.
Cool. So yes, void saber, which is someone just said in the chat, is exactly what it is. We have a void saber and blue lava with an oil slick sheen.
Yeah.
Cool. Now we've got our scene. Thank you for that, Riley. So we've shifted our camera hues from red to blue, and we get in there, and it's like, wait, they haven't found it yet, have they? Or maybe I'm reading a control panel, and I'm like, they haven't found it yet. How are we supposed to find it? I'm looking for Tony's character here. We can bring back Val or Van, Vax, Van, who goes, how are we going to find it? Just to you, how are we going to find it, Deck?
So we don't see it anywhere. Is that the conceit here?
Yeah.
I'm going to reveal an impressive accomplishment I usually keep to myself. And I think we see like me pull out my astral blade, and like I slash down towards the lava, and like there's this almost like sea parting effect that happens as it like ripples back and reveals this like plinth with a what is this thing?
That's our MacGuffin.
Let's make it let's make it a mask. We'll make it a mask.
Ooh. See, I don't think this works with what it was, but I was trying to think of like a fun subversion of it, and I was like, what if it was like a child? But I don't know if that works if they were hiding under lava.
If we like that, what if we go with I mean, I'm 100% down. Like, what if it's a child in like a Nova training pose, like a statue of a child in a Nova training pose?
My other idea is some sort of like cryostasis tank that like you do it and it reveals a cryostasis tank with a child in it.
Oh my god.
Ooh, I like that too. Underneath our blue lava.
Yeah. And it's like a backpack. We're thinking like Mandalorian style, like so that it can be carried around and escorted with the child.
Good.
And it's been hiding under the lava. They've been like excavating, but all along it was like somewhere they thought it would be impossible for this child they're looking for to be.
And like it's not even like it can't, like I'm just like, oh wait, I thought of this, but like I don't want it to be like a chosen one or whatever. But like what if it's literally just like a kid that the Nova saved? Like it's not even like the kid isn't special except that they were able to save them.
Yeah, I think we have Van, as you do this, Van goes, you weren't the only survivor, you know. Might have been the only one with this connection, but you and I have always known they aren't the only ones that matter.
Damn it, Van.
Thank you for coming back, Deck.
Do we? So I I split the lava like Moses. We see this child kind of down below. I think I make my way, like I make my, like I think part of it's like I have to use space between powers or whatever narrative MacGuffin realities we need to like walk out and get it, which I think is a perfect time for us to hear the whom of like an astral blade behind us also too.
In walks our nameless. I like that actually, that them being nameless for time, but also for effect of just this like shadowy figure, robe, and like a face that is too invisible. Like it couldn't just be the shadow of the robe. Like there is some sheen or effect, just like their void saber, that makes them almost unseeable. And
yeah.
they light that saber. And I think you just hear, unhand the child.
Look, I think I've got the backpack. Like I'm I'm like halfway down. This feels like a good time for like Karo to like potentially. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I say, with this child, and I do a really I like toss the backpack that this cryo backpack up into the air, drawing the camera and all eyes to it. I'm going to stage a convincing and threatening distraction at this point in time, potentially allowing someone else to act.
Do you want Kay to grab it?
We can see wherever it lands. I mean, I'm going to throw it in the air to create a distraction. What happens next is up to all of us.
I was gonna say that Karo's gonna draw her blaster and point it at the shadow guy.
Han Solo moment. Do you just like shoot immediately?
Yeah, why not?
I love that. And that person just like, this is mandate, put someone in immediate danger. Like starts reflecting blaster bolts back at you.
Oh
but you
no!
Just keep shooting. So you're doing that and being advanced upon, and Kay is frozen again. And I think
Great.
Kay...
Now we got 2 frozen kids. Sorry.
Oh no! I think Kay needs one phrase. I think this was where I want it. Kay wants to learn grace under pressure, and I think this is where Kay needs the reminder that's going to be the breakthrough. Does anyone have something to say to Kay? It can invoke something we've already invoked, or just can tell her to be a hero, or can tell her don't be a hero.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. Like, what's the right?
Let's see. I might be putting words in someone's mouth, but I just had the idea of pointing at the child. Someone points at the child and goes, "Heroes never survive." And like she has to have that moment of realization that there's only one way to get. Go ahead.
I've got an alternate beat I want to pitch.
Go ahead, please.
So like I think you freeze. Do you catch the baby? They're like baby's in midair. Do you end up catching it? Like if that is that the, because I've got to
catch it and then freeze. Like I don't know what to do with this.
And like I look over and I say, "Yet, you're not a hero yet." And then like I run, like I run towards the blaster fire also too, as the lava starts to like seal in behind us.
Force jump.
Yeah.
I'm guessing back up to us.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I'm imagining that what we're coming upon is each of your sacrifice moments in order to get her out. Yeah?
Yeah.
She takes it and hears the yet and looks at the door, and the camera pans to the door, but it's behind the guy with the void saber. And I think she looks to Caro and the door, just sort of suggesting like she doesn't know how, but she needs to get to that door. So what can Caro do to open up that route?
Yeah, because I'm thinking that probably it's more of Dex thing to fight the Astral Blade guy. I don't know how much I don't know what Garo can do.
Tackle into the
Look.
lava?
Just saying.
That's true.
All
Go ahead.
the clones took down all the Jedi. Like you don't have to be a Nova to take out a Nova. I'm just saying.
But if you'd rather Deck did it, we could totally do that, and it could be a different moment for.
Oh, I mean, I don't have. That's what I was trying to think of, like another idea, and I couldn't think of anything. So like, I like that. I really like that as like.
You like the tackling into the lava?
Yeah, but the thing is, I need some good last words that she can say to Kay. About July.
Oh yeah, we really haven't resolved that.
No, I was trying to think. Like, I think if we were able to like go longer, I would have wanted July to be here for some reason, but like we can't do that.
I would have really wanted that. Like, I realize what you're gonna do. Like, I see you look at the person with the void saber and look at the lava, and I realize this is going to be the end if you do this. And I'm like, you know, you said heroes don't survive. And, oh no, that's too, I was going to say, like, who does that make the real hero? Like, I'm trying to.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That doesn't, no, it doesn't, I don't want to delegitimize that form of.
I think maybe like Caro gives Kay something, right? Like some kind of token that not a mechanical token.
Yes.
Like some kind of thing, right? And says like, you know, give this to July. And I don't think it means.
Do you like flip back your lapel and pull a pin out?
Just like I've got a pin, you've got like a July pin.
Cute. That's cute. I don't think that she'd give her ex-girlfriend her own merch though.
Yes, that's fair.
I don't think that's the move.
Maybe there's a famous artifact.
To Kay, right? To be like, here's a real one.
Yeah.
That's also cute.
Yeah.
And then also like something else. Like just like something that like she kept from them. I don't think it matters what it is because I don't think it means anything to Kay.
Cool. So yeah, something like this is for you and this is for July.
Yeah.
In a previous experience, you were given medals and July absolutely should have been, but she didn't, and so now we have to make sure July gets a medal.
Sure. It's a really big deal to everybody who saw the prequel.
Yes, exactly. And Kay takes them. And like is clearly holding them with almost as much like reverence as the child. And puts it in her pocket and says, "Thank you. I couldn't have done this without you."
Oh, I don't have a good response to that.
That can be it. Your response can be action. I think that's
yeah. And then she just charges the guy.
And yeah, I think struck by. Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I didn't have anything else.
Struck by the Astral Blade, but it's not enough to stop the motion.
Yeah.
So like Astral Blade through the chest, and you still knock off and go falling with the Astral Blade in your chest into the lava. And Kay gets to the door, and is almost out. And let's assume this chamber is so huge that it like actually takes a while to cross, and she has to do it carefully because it's treacherous. I want to slow this down because if it's okay, this gets Kay to the door. This gets the Nova out of the way, but we haven't had a moment for Deck.
Yeah.
Climbs out of the lava, sloughing, like the darkness sloughing off. The Nova does, and still has the saber, and is looking over, and like shuts the door, with a hand out. And this is Deck's time. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
I just don't want that to undercut Riley's character. Does it still feel meaningful?
I think so. Like if they were like, you know, stopped.
Yeah, like it's the only way that Kay got to the door, but now she is stopped at that obstacle. And so
I'm probably like the Nova is like still being like burned, you know, by the lava and stuff.
Yes, is like struggling. You can tell like they're all of their energy right now.
We've done Anakin Skywalker.
Yes, we literally done Anakin.
And some very good Temple of Doom vibes at this point in time also too. I I love the idea of like this, like he's like they are holding themselves together through like sheer space between power. And so like we see me like reach out with both hands, and like all of a sudden, like, you know, it pans back and there are these two huge clashes of like color and void hitting each other over the top of this blue lava pit in this space, as I'm trying to like break down their body using using my healing powers, right? Like I'm trying to basically halt what they're doing, but because of all the pure space between energy swirling around us, like it's causing this, I think, like we see like stalactites like falling down into the thing. We see like equipment falling off down into the, or I think the entire place is starting to just collapse in at this point in time. And like finally there's this like ram forward, and like I like pierce through, and like we see energy like that light stab into this adversary, this Nova user, or this non-Nova, this alter Nova, the non-inversa Nova. But I think that like we just see the entire room collapse around that.
Avon
Nova.
Calling. I think in that moment, like we all of a sudden see like Van and like a group of other people in similar with similar patterned like lay guard clothing, like standing around as like everything crashes down, and Deck is destroyed, surrounded by his the rest of his lay guards.
Yeah. And I think where I want to close is she's running with the child, just trying to dodge. The whole place is coming down. The mandate is completely ignoring Kay because the whole place is coming down. They're just trying to get out too. She's running in the middle of mandate like troopers, and she's nearly made it to the surface. And she looks back, and you can tell from the look in her eyes, she's like, did I do the wrong thing running away? Could I have gotten them out if I had stayed and fought, if I had not carried this child instead? And while she's standing there, we see Van put a hand on her shoulder and say, sometimes the heroes are the ones still there to make sure we carry on. And I think that's the close.
Then I used my strong move to survive a blow that should have killed me. No, I'm just kidding. No, that was awesome. Let's do our reaction roll. Reaction roll is a live stream inside of a live stream. It's our chance to sit down with the creator of a game that we just played and talk to them about that game. Today we have two creators of both a game and a supplement. We were playing Going Rogue, an expansion for Galactic 2E. We have Riley, the creator of Galactic 2E, with us, as well as Jess. We're just going to talk about it a little quick if you're watching right now, or if you have a question about the game, how it works, any of those pieces, feel free to toss them into the chat or into the comments, and we'll get an answer for you. Recombinatrix and Anti-Nova could be a singularity. I do like that.
Absolutely.
And so I had a blast. I had a really good time.
Thank you.
I love like it's one of the hardest things like about like I love the world building side of BOB games. I think Galactic 2E does thrive in like short arcs, like 2 to 3 session things, especially one like this. I think it's easy to do an episode of Clone Wars in 30 minutes. I think it's hard to do, justice to something with emotional themes like this in the period of time that you have in a one shot, which is even though it's 3 hours, is the equivalent of 30 minutes in RPG time.
Yes.
True.
But I had such a great time getting to explore this side of things. Riley, you are your designer of Galactic 2E. You've obviously played Going Rogue before. Tell us a little bit about what your experience with it's been like, and if you have any questions for Jess, go ahead and ask him.
Oh, yeah, I like play tested Going Rogue once. We actually didn't get super far. Like we were planning on doing a second session, it never happened. It was great though. We were gonna kill Walt Disney, is what I remember of that. I think it was like a guy doing like a Death Star, except it was like the justification we had for why we killing him would like stop it is because he was like the Walt Disney of the thing, where it was just kind of his vision, and if he was gone, everybody would be like, okay, anyways. That wasn't really. I'm sure I have questions for Jess, but I'm kind of tired right now.
That's okay.
So.
That's a totally valid thing also too. I loved I love the tonal differences, and you already talked about this a little bit, like the differences between Galactic 2E, the core rules, and then the tonal shifts in this, and some of your kind of experience playtesting through what made that work and didn't. I loved it in play. Like I loved getting a chance to explore that and have it not devolve into like to get to say hard things. And it came up in the chat at one point in time. Like at one point in time, I said something and you said, "This is heartbreaking. Thank you." Going Rogue summed up by Autonomous Grandpa. Thanks for catching that moment in text. But I love a game that you can just kind of step into. Like we're going to explore heavy themes, but it's still going to be good, and there's still going to be fun beats. And there's going to be these kind of up and down tracking. I think that's such a hard tone to hit with writing. Was that something that early on that was a challenge, or something that came pretty naturally as you were designing it?
That is a really good question, because the answer is yes, it was a challenge. I consider my first playtest of this game a failure. Some of my players had fun, but I was actually very stressed at the table. I did not, especially the first session, did not actually have that much fun, which is the nature sometimes of a first playtest. Also, Riley, I want to say, like, it's an open door policy and needs come first. If you need to bounce, I can answer these questions. Also, please, I'm not pressuring you out. I just really want to say that, like, human needs come 100%. First, and that's an important part of this.
No, I'm gonna leave in a minute.
Yeah, cool. I think I think after this we'll probably all bounce. Like I love everyone here, but also my spouse had strep this last week and they're finally healthy, which means I get to sleep in my own bed tonight, and I'm super excited about that also.
So I'll answer real quick. I didn't have fun at the table, and part of the reason, like I talked about, was like it was a bunch of cynics and loners and dark themes, and nothing that like added a bright spot to contrast that. And that was where the convert playbook came from. That was why I was like, the convert can't be the person who's just right all the time. And very obviously at multiple times, Kay was like naively fallible, but that naivety brought out a care from Deck. And that naivety brought out like a desire to teach and learn and pass on his skills and the reality of the situation from Caro. And so the point of these playbooks balanced against each other, and why I like really discourage using outside playbooks, is because in order to handle dark themes in a way that is both responsible and emotionally satisfying, you have to design it to have a counterpoint to those themes that resonates. And so the way the playbooks work together are really set up to force that to happen, including through the ask lefts and rights that like give those things that we can later play upon.
Yeah. No, I had a blast. Like I said, anybody out there who hasn't checked it out yet should go to ttrpg.link /RogueGame. Check out this as well as a ton of other supplements for Galactic 2E. Go pick up Galactic 2E also too. I had an absolute blast. Like I said, we got a ton of streams coming up, but we are all sleepy sleep. So we're gonna hop off in just 1 second. Reminder: I'm talking to Jason Cordova live tomorrow afternoon. I'm a Jason Cordova stan. If you've ever heard me talk about GM techniques or design theory that I get obsessed by, Jason is the reason that I love a lot of the things I love. And I think Gauntlet has such a tremendous culture of play. So if you're not familiar with Gauntlet Pub or Gauntlet RPG, please come back tomorrow. Tons of other great content coming up. I really want to encourage people to go check out. Any final thoughts from anybody else?
If you don't mind me doing 30 seconds of self-promo.
I would love for you to do, you can do more than 30 seconds. You can take 3 minutes if you want.
Okay.
I'm going to take 31 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll time myself. So as I said at the beginning, I'm Jess. I'm also known as Jess from Online. You can find me on Twitter as @JessFromOnline, where I'm way too online, and all of my work I talk about there. So that's one of the easiest places to find what I do. I also have a website, jessfrom.online. You can find my games, my writing. I had a recent story published in Clark's World, like a sci-fi short story that also talks about suicidality, called The Direction of Clocks. You can check that out. The thing I most want to share with you is that I have a new game that is I am crowdfunding. The crowdfunder funded. I did it off Kickstarter because fuck Kickstarter and their crypto shit. And it is a 2-player dueling game of banter, posturing, and capes. Because I love all of these things. Oh my god, I can't believe I didn't explicitly mention a cape in this game. That's fine. Yeah, it is. There's late pledges still available, but it's only going to be available for a maximum of maybe another month. So if you want to get in on getting a zine, if I have the high ground, or a premium set with some cool ass tokens, you should go check that out and consider backing that game. It'll be my first print thing ever. So I would really love people's support. If they haven't checked that out, go see if you like the pitch. And that's all. You can find.
We got to plan when we're gonna play it.
Oh, yes, we do. Riley and I are going to be playing it for a podcast exclusively for backers. So if you had fun with this, please go ahead and check that out. And if you back at any level, you get access to Riley and I's play.
I'm a backer, and I got it at the premium level. Also, I got the Philly pickup option, which was my favorite thing. Was like, I can just drive over and get this game. Awesome, let's do that. So I'm super excited, and I know Jess and I have talked about hopefully having that on stream at some point in time, also too, because I love setting up 2-player games because it's just me and one other person, and it's really easy to book and set up schedules. And so I had an absolute blast with this. I would love at some point to get this back on for a longer stretch with some players and see what folks do with it over the course of a few sessions. It was tremendous to play. But yes, I dropped the link in the chat. I'll also update the video on demand to have the link for I have the high ground as well. And yeah, if you don't have a cape, if you haven't worn a cape recently, go do it. Like, treat yourself.
So true.
It might give you a mechanical advantage, and I have the high ground. One of the qualifications is the most recently worn a cape.
Yeah. But until next time, I don't have a good way for us to end stream, so we just wave at the camera until I take us offline. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much for coming and playing and going rogue with us.